Chapter 1503 Aquatic Spirit Beast Yunchujo saw that she had temporarily gotten rid of the people from the Netherworld Hall and sat down on the deck. Emma, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. I'm so tired. Nangong Luoyue and the others also heaved a sigh of relief. They thought that they would definitely die, but they didn't expect that they would actually get rid of the people from the Netherworld Hall. Little Joe, what should we do next? Nangong Luoyue asked. We can only stay on the boat for the time being. The people of the Netherworld Palace will not give up. They will definitely track us on the shore. We can only wait on the boat for the trial to end. However, their main target is me. If you guys want to leave, you can wait until it's dark and sneak onto the other shore. Yunchujo said to Nangong Luoyue and the others. They shook their heads. Firstly, they felt that abandoning Yunchujo was not a good idea. Secondly, they felt that it was safer to follow Yunchujo. There might be people from the Netherworld Hall on the other side of the river. They were not a match for the people from the Netherworld Hall. 3 days passed in a row. The people from the Netherworld Hall were still chasing after them on the shore. Yunchujo had the boat stop and go. If the people from the Netherworld Hall did not chase after them, the boat would stop on the river. If the people from the Netherworld Hall went into the water to chase after them, she had the boat go forward at full speed. The people of the Netherworld Palace were so angry that they were twitching. Just when the people of the Netherworld Palace were at their wits' end, they met another group of people from the Netherworld Palace. The leader was a hall master surnamed Yu. After he heard what Hall Master Li had said about what had happened, he smiled sinisterly. Brothers, there's no need to be anxious. I am not talented, and my swimming ability is not bad. Moreover, many of my brothers have grown up by the sea. Moreover, they all have aquatic spiritual pets. It will be easy for me to take care of Yunchujo and the others. You guys wait for my good news. Hearing that, Hall Master Li and Hall Master Zhu were overjoyed. That's great. We're just waiting for your good news. It would be best if we can kill them in the water. Even if we can't kill them and force them to the shore, we'll definitely be able to kill them. All right. The two of you will split into 2 groups and go to the opposite shore to prevent them from escaping from the opposite shore. After saying that, Hall Master Yu led his men and jumped into the river. After Hall Master Yu and the others summoned their aquatic spiritual pets, they rode on their spiritual pets and headed straight for Yunchujia's ship. Nangong Luoyue, who was in charge of keeping watch on the deck, couldn't help but cry out in alarm, Little Jiu. Little Jiu. This is bad. They have aquatic spiritual beasts, they are catching up. Yunchujo, who was in the middle of enjoying the hot pot, walked to the side of the deck and took a look. Sure enough, there were 10 people riding on the aquatic spiritual pets and chasing after the ship. Judging from their speed, they should be able to catch up in 15 minutes. Yunchujo rubbed her chin and thought for a moment. If we let them catch up, we would be in a passive position as soon as they boarded the ship. It would be best if we took care of them in the water. Her purple lightning was quite powerful in the water. How about she jump into the river and kill a few of them first? Yunchujo thought of this and said to Nangong Luoyue, I'll jump into the river and kill them. You guys be careful and stay alert. Don't let anyone get close to our ship. Junior sister Jiu, can you do it? It's too risky. It's better to wait for them to catch up to us and deal with them together. Nangong Luoyue anxiously stopped her. Don't worry. They might not be my match in the water. If they can't do it, I'll come back. I'm leaving. See you later. After saying this, Yunchujo jumped down and directly dived into the river. Nangong Luoyue stamped her feet anxiously. Wasn't Little Joe messing around? No matter how powerful you are, you can't kill 10 people. Moreover, they have aquatic spirit beasts. Chapter 1504 I'll let you feed the bastards. When the people of the Netherworld Hall on the shore saw that Yunchujo had actually jumped off the boat, they couldn't help but be overjoyed. Had this wretched girl lost her mind? She had actually walked right into the trap. She was definitely going to die this time. Hall Master Yu and the others were experts in the water. Moreover, they had the help of the aquatic spirit beasts. Killing Yunchujo was simply a piece of cake. Hall Master Yu and the others thought the same. When they saw Yunchujo jump down, they couldn't help but twitch their lips. They thought to themselves, this Yunchujo isn't as smart as the rumors say. She's simply extremely stupid. If she were to stay on the boat, they would still need to spend some effort to kill her. They didn't expect her to jump off the boat voluntarily and die. That's great. They saw that Yoon Chujo did not come out of the water to catch her breath. They could not help but wonder, could it be that the stinky girl had drowned? An assassin said to Hall Master Yu, "I'll go to the front to take a look. I think that stinky girl might have drowned." Hall Master Yu nodded. The assassin got his bloodthirsty catfish to speed up and swam towards the place where Yoon Chujo had fallen into the water. When the assassin was searching for Yoon Chujo, the bloodthirsty catfish he was riding started to roll violently. The assassin was caught off guard and fell into the water. Only then did he realize that the tail of the bloodthirsty catfish had been blown into a bloody mess. While he was in a daze, several small lightning bolts were swimming towards his vital parts. The assassin was so scared that he quickly dodged. Unexpectedly, those small lightning bolts actually turned around and chased after him. What the hell was this? Although some people could use intermediate-level materialization techniques to transform their spiritual power into aquatic demonic beasts, only the aquatic demonic beasts formed by advanced-level materialization techniques had intelligence. Yoon Chujo's lightning bolt was obviously just lightning. How could it turn around? Yoon Chujo did not have the time to let him think clearly. Not only did the purple lightning bolts shoot out frequently, but they also shot out several small purple needles. However, she realized that the speed of the small purple needles was far from the speed of the purple lightning bolts. She could only continue to shoot purple lightning to attack the assassin. The assassin was momentarily stunned. In addition, the blood of his bloodthirsty catfish dyed the surrounding river red and obstructed his vision. He was struck by the purple lightning and was actually killed just like that. Once the assassin died, the bloodthirsty catfish naturally died as well. The corpse of a man and a fish floated to the surface of the water. Nangong Luiwe and the others were stunned. The people from the netherworld hall by the shore were stunned. Hall Master Yu and the others were also stunned. How is this possible? In less than 15 minutes, that assassin and his spirit beast were actually killed by Yoon Chujo? This was impossible. Hall Master Yu, could it be that Yoon Chujo is very powerful in the water? An assassin asked with some unease. That shouldn't be the case. I think there might be a very powerful aquatic demonic beast ahead. Not only Li Yuan but Yoon Chujo might also have been eaten by that demonic beast. Everyone, be careful and dive into the water to see what's going on. Hall Master Yu said. When everyone heard this, they all jumped into the water. They saw a figure swimming rapidly towards them from afar. Who else could it be but Yoon Chujo with a smile? Aya, you are much dumber than Hall Master Li. You actually took the initiative to enter the river to die? If you know what's good for you, quickly scram back to the shore and I will spare you. Otherwise, that person just now will be your end. I will let you all feed the big bastards in the river. Yoon Chujo said arrogantly. Chapter 1505. Try the little piggy. Hall Master Yu and the others were shocked. This stinky girl could actually talk in the water? How is this possible? Although the water repellent bead could allow people to move freely in the water, it was absolutely impossible to talk. Either her constitution was special, or she had a water repellent bead on her body. At the thought of the water repellent bead, everyone's eyes revealed a greedy look. The water repellent bead was a legendary existence. Even if it was for the sake of the water repellent bead, they had to kill this stinky girl. Hall Master Yu waved his hand, indicating for everyone to surround Yoon Chujo. Unexpectedly, before they could go forward to surround her, Yoon Chujo smiled darkly at them. Then with a shake of her hand she spilled something, causing the surrounding river water to turn pitch black. Just as everyone was panicking, they noticed several small purple lightning bolts shooting straight at them. Hall Master Yu and the others and the spiritual beasts quickly dodged. What shocked them was that the small lightning bolts could actually make a turn. Fuck. This stinky girl was too strange. Not only was it strange on land, but it was also strange in water. It was obviously the simplest lightning bolt. How could it make a turn? Hall Master Yu gestured for everyone to calm down, and got everyone to start attacking the front with their spiritual power. These people all had water spiritual roots, and their spiritual power were all aquatic demonic beasts. They shot forward. Although they couldn't see Yun Chujia's exact location, that stinky girl was definitely in front. Ouch! I'm seriously injured. I can't do it. I have to escape. Yun Chujia's screams and muttering came from the front. Hall Master Yu and the others were overjoyed. One of the killers immediately swam forward quickly. His spiritual pet, the iron-toothed shark, also rushed forward. After swimming for a while, the killer saw Yun Chujio swimming forward with all her might, and traces of blood spread as she swam forward. The killer was delighted. It seemed that this stupid girl was really injured. Although her little lightning was a little strange, as long as he was careful, it would be no problem. Moreover, he had the help of the iron-toothed shark. Thinking of this, the assassin sped up and chased after Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio turned around and saw him chasing after her. She couldn't help but sneer in her heart. TSK, little fellow, another one is courting death. I'll kill you all one by one. The assassin was chasing after her when he saw Yun Chujio suddenly stop swimming. Just when he was a little surprised, he saw Yun Chujio waving her left and right hands, and several purple bolts of lightning flew towards him and the giant iron-toothed shark. Although the assassin was a little surprised, he did not care too much. He shot out a spiritual eel and pounced towards Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio summoned 8 flying swords to protect herself. She continued to shoot purple lightning bolts at the assassin and the iron-toothed shark. After a few moves, Yun Chujio thought that it was not good. She still thought that things were too simple. It seemed that he was too careless to be able to kill that person previously. This was obviously not easy to deal with. Moreover, the people behind had already swam over. They would be able to catch up soon. If she could not finish the battle quickly, she would be surrounded. What should she do? The purple needle was not enough. She did not know how to use the intermediate level materialization spell. What if she could also materialize an aquatic demon beast? Yes, she would give it a try. Yun Chujio thought of this and started to use the intermediate level materialization spell. Then, she sadly realized that she had released a cute little piglet of spiritual energy. The little piglet of spiritual power that had been released was clearly a little confused. Then it swam toward the giant iron-toothed shark. Chapter 1506 The Invincible Piglet. The assassin and the steel-toothed shark looked at the piglet released by Yun Chujio with disdain. If the assassin did not have a waterproof bead in his mouth, he would definitely laugh out loud. This piglet was indeed very abnormal on land, however. It was useless in the water. As expected, the piglet clearly did not know how to swim. Its 4 short legs were flailing around randomly, and it even flipped over in a moment of carelessness. Its belly was facing upwards as if it was drowned. Yun Chujio was dumbfounded. It seemed that the piglet clearly could not do it. It could only continue to use the purple lightning. She was afraid that she could not kill these people. If she really could not do it, she would first get on the boat. After all, she had the water-repellent bead, so she could swim much faster than these people. Seeing that the piglet was really too stupid, the steel-toothed giant shark also showed a disdainful expression. This water was the territory of their aquatic demon beasts, and this piglet still wanted to attack it? It was simply wishful thinking. It couldn't even swim, yet it still wanted to attack it? Just as the giant shark was feeling proud, it never expected that the piglet would suddenly flip over. Its hind legs kicked hard, and with a whoosh it pounced on the giant shark's right eye. The giant shark was completely unprepared. Its right eye was directly turned into a bloody mess by the spiritual energy piglet, and the spiritual energy piglet also dissipated due to the exhaustion of spiritual energy. That assassin was completely stunned. Heavens, this little piglet of spiritual power actually knew how to feign death and deceive people? Was it going to become a spirit? How could an intermediate-level physical transformation technique materialize such a nimble little piglet? However, Yun Chujio was overjoyed. Haha! She had already said that her little piglet of spiritual power would not be so weak. Thinking back to that time, there was a famous pig. Yes, it was that pig Beiji. Didn't he manage 100,000 heavenly court sailors? Therefore, there was evidence that this pig could swim. This time, Yun Chujio was much more confident. This spiritual piglet was much more powerful than the purple lightning. Furthermore, it could devour the opponent's spiritual beasts. It was really great. Yun Chujo faced the assassin and the steel-toothed shark and released more than 10 spiritual piglets. These spiritual piglets changed from the previous spiritual piglets' ignorance. The moment they entered the water, they quickly swam towards the assassin and the steel-toothed shark. Moreover, they did not use their 4 short legs to paddle. Instead, they used their hind legs to kick the water. With a fierce leap, they could pounce onto the enemy's body. Seeing this, Yun Chujo could not close her mouth and smiled. Very good, very good. These little piglets were really too powerful. They were simply invincible little piglets. She could not close her mouth and smile. That assassin was really unlucky. Before he could recover from the perverse state of the little piglets, several little piglets had already pounced on him. He hurriedly released his spiritual ocean eel to block them. Who would have thought that the little piglets would swallow the spiritual ocean eel in just a few mouthfuls? Then they pounced on him even more ferociously. Yun Chujo did not stay idle either. Although the purple lightning was not as powerful as the spirit power piglets, the purple lightning specialized in attacking vulnerable parts such as the eyes. It was truly a sneak attack on a small expert. Although the assassin tried his best to resist, he still lost his life under the pincer attack of the spirit power piglets and the purple lightning. Once he died, his steel-toothed giant shark would also be finished. The corpse of the assassin and the steel-toothed shark floated to the surface of the river, and immediately, the people of the Netherworld Hall on the shore exploded. Oh my god, another one died. Didn't Hall Master you say that they were very powerful? How did they get killed by Yun Chujo in succession? That's right, they still couldn't kill Yun Chujo even with 10 of them and the demonic beasts? It seems like they were just bragging. You can't say that. I guess they didn't notice it at the beginning. Aren't there 8 people? Maybe it will be Yun Chujia's dead body that floats up later. Chapter 1507. Pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Hall Master Yu and the others had already swam to the vicinity of Yun Chujo. They had lost 2 people in a row, so they did not dare to underestimate the enemy this time around. Hall Master Yu gestured with his hands, gesturing for Yun Chujo to be surrounded. Yun Chujo used the same trick again and sprinkled another bottle of dye, causing the river to turn pitch black. Hall Master Yu and the others were so angry that they gritted their teeth. But there was nothing they could do. The black water was pitch black, and they could not even see their own people, let alone Yun Chujo. In the darkness, they could hear the screams of the people from the Netherworld Hall. It did not matter if they screamed, as the river water poured into their mouths. That person quickly floated to the surface of the water to breathe. At this moment he felt a pain in his back. Then there was nothing else. He and the corpse of his spirit beast floated on the surface of the water. Oh my god, another one died. Oh right, why did the river water turn black? Did Yun Chujo spread poison in it? Hall Master, yes, men might have been poisoned to death. What you said makes sense. Otherwise, Yun Chujo wouldn't have been able to kill them. You guys can forget it. How much poison would this poison have to be able to kill people after being diluted by the river water? It definitely wasn't poison to death. Seeing that another subordinate had died, Hall Master Yu secretly hated Yun Chujo. This damn Yun Chujo was really cunning to the extreme. She actually thought of such a sinister method. However, you still underestimate me too much. At this moment, the dye was almost diluted by the river water. Everyone finally regained their sight. Hall Master Yu gestured to his subordinates to disperse and expand the encirclement. Yun Chujia's eyes flashed. Oh, she's still quite smart. In this way, if she used the dye again, although they couldn't see her, they only needed to attack the center. Hall Master Yu waved his hand, and the 7 people's spiritual energy attacks shot toward Yun Chujo. Yun Chujo pouted and began to release the pigs. Hall Master Yu and the others were quite far away earlier, so they didn't see the perverse performance of the spiritual energy piglets. Therefore, when they saw the 7 silly and cute piglets flapping their 4 legs, they couldn't help but twitch their lips. This thing was fine on land, but in water? Humph, they were weak. Yun Chujo sneered in her heart. In a while you guys will have a good time. Yun Chujia's hands were not idle either. She used the 8 immortal swords to protect herself, and then used the purple lightning to continuously shoot at the crowd. Hall Master Yu and the others naturally would not sit still and wait for death. On one hand, they paid attention to the situation of the piglets, and on the other hand, they used water arrows to attack Yun Chujo. The 7 spiritual energy piglets were still fiddling with their short legs when the 7 spiritual energy beasts pounced in front of them. Hall Master Yu and the others glanced at the piglets contemptuously, thinking that these piglets would definitely be finished. However, they were completely stunned by what happened next. The 7 piglets that were originally slow suddenly became agile and fiercely bit down on the spiritual energy beasts. Damn it, how is this a pig? This was even more ferocious than a tiger. This was a live act of pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Just as Hall Master Yu and the others were in a daze, Yun Chujo released another 8 spirit piglets. Hall Master Yu and the others hurriedly released their spirit beasts to defend, and the two sides once again engaged in a fierce battle. Although Hall Master Yu and the others had the advantage in numbers, they were unable to withstand Yun Chuji's evil schemes. When this fellow couldn't hold on any longer, he would put Dai in the water, and then take advantage of the chaos to launch a sneak attack. The Spirit Energy Piglet and the Purple Lightning's sneak attacks successively succeeded. Hall Master Yes side very quickly lost another 3 people, leaving only 4 people. Chapter 1508 was round. The people of the Netherworld Hall on the shore cried out in alarm. It's over. Hall Master Yu and the others are going to be completely wiped out. Who told them to brag? It's just a piece of cake? It's so easy. I think they'll all be killed by Yun Chujo in less than an hour. That's right. Do they think that Yun Chujo is easy to deal with? If she was easy to deal with, would we still be able to survive for such a long time without killing her? Hall Master Li wanted to say something, but he swallowed his words. Although the words of his subordinates didn't sound very convincing, they made sense. Hall Master Yu was boasting so much, so why were his subordinates being killed one after another? At this moment, Hall Master Yu also had the intention to retreat. The number of waterproof beads in their hands was limited, and they couldn't hold on for long. Thus, he gestured to the other 3 to retreat. Seeing that they had escaped, Yun Chujo did not chase after them and swam directly to the big ship in front of them. After Yun Chujo got on the ship, she sat down on the deck and said, "Damn it. I'm so tired." Fortunately, they ran away. Otherwise, it might not have happened. Nangong Luoyue and the others were very happy to see Yun Chujo return safely. They kept praising Yun Chuji's underwater skills. Yun Chujo pretended to be modest, but her mouth was almost unable to close. Hall Master Yu returned to the shore dejectedly. Hall Master Li didn't say much and only said, "This stinky girl is very strange. Let's take a long-term plan. She can't escape anyway." Hall Master Yu nodded. That stinky girl's spirit energy piglet is even more abnormal than on the shore. It's really difficult to deal with. I'm afraid that they won't come ashore until the mystic realm closes. Then we won't have a chance to act. We don't know how far the end of the river is. If the water level at the end of the river drops, the boat will surely run aground. We can just block their way. Hall Master Li thought for a moment and said, "We can only do so." From this day on, the two sides had been in a stalemate. Hall Master Li and the others would jump into the river from time to time to chase after them, forcing Yun Chuji's boat to keep driving forward, trying to force them to the end of the river. Although Yun Chujo had guessed Hall Master Li's intention, she did not have a good solution. Once those people boarded the boat, it would be bad. She could only keep pushing forward. 8 days later, when Yun Chujo saw the scene in front of her, she could not help but feel like crying in her heart. It seemed that not only was the earth round, but this damn mystic realm was also round. In front of her, it was actually that big lake. The big lake that she fooled 6 big bastards into. Yun Chujo wanted to turn around, but Hall Master Li and the others were already waiting in the water. Once Yun Chuji's boat turned around, they would definitely take the opportunity to board the boat. At that time, there would only be death. If they kept going forward, the lake would definitely have an end. At that time, they would still be caught up by these people. Advancing or retreating was a dead end. What should they do? Nangong Luoyue and the others also realized that there was no way to escape. They also had worried expressions. Could it be that there was really no way to survive? Junior sister little 9, why don't we rush to the opposite shore and escape? Perhaps there might be a turn for the better. A male student said. How could there be a way to survive? Didn't you see that the people of the Netherworld Palace are waiting for us on both sides of the river? Once we get ashore, we will definitely die. But if we don't get ashore, we'll still have to die when we reach the end of the lake. Moreover, we're on the boat, so we won't be able to escape even if we want to. Yoon Chujio, who had been silent the whole time, suddenly stomped her feet. We can only gamble. If we win the bet, we'll be able to escape. If we lose the bet, we'll definitely die. Do you dare to gamble with me? Nangong Luoyue and the others looked at each other and said resolutely, gamble. Since we will die anyway, we might as well gamble. Hearing their words, Yoon Chujio took a deep breath. Then she pulled her neck and shouted, listen up, scum of the Netherworld Palace. I will give you one last chance. If you don't get lost, I will let my divine beasts eat you. Chapter 1509 lies again. Hearing Yoon Chujio's words, Hall Master Lee and the others sneered, Yoon Chujio, have you gone mad? Godly beast? If you had a godly beast, would you have been chased by us for so many days? What do you know? My godly beast is in the big lake ahead. If you continue to chase after me, I will call out my lord godly beast and eat you. The people from the Netherworld Palace immediately burst into laughter. Divine beast is in the lake? Could it be that your divine beast is an asshole? It's still in the lake. That's right. Yoon Chujio, we know that you have a lot of bad ideas, but even if you lie, you still have some skill. Isn't your lie too simple? If there is a so-called divine beast in the lake ahead, I will call you grandma. Yoon Chujio sneered. You forced me to do this. It seems that I have to release the divine beasts. The people of the Netherworld Palace thought that Yoon Chujio must be bluffing. If she had the divine beasts, she would have released them long ago. Why would she wait until now? While everyone was thinking, they heard Yoon Chujio stretching her neck and shouting at the top of her voice, Lord Divine Beasts. 6 Lord Divine Beasts. I have brought you the reserve rations again. Come out and have some snacks. 6 Lord Beast God. Come out quickly. They called you big bastards and said that you're useless. They said that you're cowards who only know how to hide in your shells. Lord Beast God. If you don't come out now, I'll take you away. Yoon Chujio didn't have any confidence at all. She didn't know if the 6 big bastards were nearby. Even if they were nearby, she had already fooled them twice. As the saying goes, you can't repeat it again and again. But now, other than borrowing beasts to kill people, she really had no other way. Yoon Chujio stretched her neck and shouted for a long time. There was no movement at all on the shore or in the lake. Her heart sank. Could it be that the 6 bastards were still basking in the sun in the wilderness? Fuck. They were already dark enough. What was the point of basking in the sun? The people of the Netherworld Hall saw that there was no movement. They were even more certain that Yoon Chujio was bluffing. They could not help but laugh wildly. Yoon Chujio, where is your divine beast? Not to mention that there isn't any bullshit divine beast. Even if there is, we aren't afraid even with so many people. That's right. If there is a so-called divine beast, we can just kill it. It is said that the blood and flesh of divine beasts are very nutritious. Haha, I think there definitely isn't any divine beast. There might be a few big bastards in the lake. Just as the people of the Netherworld Palace were talking nonsense, a cloud of dust rose up in the distance, and the ground started to shake. 6 huge beasts rushed over quickly. The people of the Netherworld Palace felt their legs go weak. Although they didn't know the level of the 6 demonic beasts, they were definitely not lower than level 27. Were these demonic beasts really Yoon Chujio's spiritual pets? The 6 demonic beasts quickly crawled to the vicinity of the crowd, and their huge eyes looked at Yoon Chujio angrily. This wretched girl had teased them twice. This time she would definitely eat her. Yoon Chujio's eyes flashed and she stretched her neck and shouted, Lord Divine Beast. Lord Divine Beast. You're finally here. This is great. I finally helped you get a few dozen reserve rations. Oh right, they called you useless bastards. I'm about to faint from anger. Come and take care of them. I didn't run away last time. I went to help you find reserve rations. If I had run away, would I have come all the way back? Chapter 15:10 The divine beasts killed them. The people of the Netherworld Palace were confused. What was going on? What was going on? What was going on? Were these 6 demonic beasts Yunchujia's spiritual pets? Would they attack us? The 6 demonic beasts were confused by Yunchujia's words. What the little brat said made sense. If she was running away, why would she come back? My 6 divine beasts bite them to death first, then slowly discuss the problem of eating me. This is in the river, not on land. I can't run away even if I want to. Let me tell you, they scolded you harshly. What big bastards, what cowards, they even want to drink your blood and eat your flesh. Oh right, someone even said that he wanted to flip your shells to make a urinal. When the 6 demonic beasts heard the last sentence, they were so angry that they almost went mad. They started to CW and caw strangely as they charged towards the people from the Netherworld Hall. Hall Master Li had already guessed 80% of the truth. These big bastards seemed to have wanted to eat Yunchujo in the past. Yunchujo had escaped, and now they actually said that they were helping them to trap us? When Hall Master Li thought of this, he shouted, Lord Divine Beast, that stinky girl Yunchujo is spouting nonsense. We have never said that you are big bastards. You guys have been deceived by that stinky girl Yunchujo. You guys can't be so stupid. Hearing what Hall Master Li said, Yunchujo almost burst into laughter. This Hall Master Li was really too stupid. What the demonic beasts were most willing to listen to was flattery. What they hated the most was that others said it was stupid and said it was stupid. If you said that, then it would be strange if the 6 big bastards weren't even angrier. As expected, when the 6 big bastards heard what Hall Master Li said, they became even angrier and pounced on them. You're the one who's fucking stupid. Your entire family is stupid. We're so smart, how could the little girl deceive us? The people of the Netherworld Hall were so scared that they ran in all directions. How could they still care about Yunchujo? They wished that they could grow 2 more legs. Hall Master Zhu, who was on the other side of the river, couldn't care about saving Hall Master Li and the others. He took his men and ran away. Hall Master Li was so angry that he couldn't do anything. Hall Master Yu brought his 3 men and jumped into the river. He was ready to swim to the other side. When the 2 demonic beasts saw him, they climbed into the water and killed the 4 men and their demonic beasts in a short while. Lord Divine Beast, you are indeed brave and fierce. Good kill. Good kill. You killed them until they cried out. Lord Divine Beast. Yes, it's that fatty. He is the one who said that he would tear off the shells of your sons of bitches and use them as your urinals. Kill him. Lord Divine Beast, you guys come and compete. I want to see who kills the most people. Whoever kills the most, I'll let them eat me. In less than an hour, the battle on the shore came to an end. Hall Master Li and the others were all bitten to death by the 6 demonic beasts. Only then did the 6 demonic beasts start to squawk at the big ship, motioning for Yunchujo to come out and throw her life away. Yunchujia's loud voice could still be heard from the ship. Lord Divine Beast, put in more effort. Kill them. Lord Divine Beast, you guys are the best. I love you guys. The 6 demonic beasts had an ominous premonition in their hearts. They swam into the water one after another, and used their huge bodies to ram into the ship. Until the ship was knocked over, they did not see a single person. Fuck. They were fooled by that damn brat again. She must have secretly escaped from the river. Chase. The 6 demonic beasts saw a boat in front of them from afar. They gritted their teeth and chased after it. Damn brat, this time I will definitely eat you up. Chapter 15:11 Empty Ship Plan. The 6 demonic beasts aggressively swam to the front of the big ship and roared. However, they still did not see Yunchujo come out. They were so angry that they destroyed the big ship again. However, they angrily found that there was still no one inside. Where did that damn brat go? Could it be that she abandoned the ship and ran ashore? It must be so. Chase. She definitely wouldn't be able to escape far. The 6 demonic beasts clambered onto the opposite shore. After smelling the scent of a cultivator, they chased fiercely. Although they didn't manage to catch Yunchujo, they did manage to catch up to Hall Master Zhu and the others. Hall Master Zhu and the others were on the verge of collapse. Why were these bastards still unwilling to let them go? They quickly scattered and ran in all directions. The 6 demonic beasts bit more than 10 people to death. The 6 demonic beasts were so angry that they roared. Where on earth did this damn brat go? At this moment, Yun Chujio was proudly cooking a small hot pot. While eating, she bragged, "Sister Luoe, how about this trick of mine? Those bastards are probably going to die of anger." Nangong Luoe smiled and said, "Little Jiao, how did your little head grow? Those demonic beasts must have gone ashore to chase after us when they saw the second empty ship. How could they have thought that we had a third ship? Oh right, where did you get so many ships? There are many of them. I always prepare a large number of things. I'm not bragging, but if they continue to chase after us, I can even get 10 or 8 ships to confuse them. This is called an empty ship scheme." Yun Chujio said proudly. This fellow was so beautiful. This tactic of borrowing beasts to kill people was simply perfect. She had killed more than half of the people from the Netherworld Palace in one go. Even if she met the remaining people, she could still fight them. The crisis was basically resolved. Nangong Luoyue and the others were completely impressed by Yun Chujio. Regardless of her spiritual power, just her courage and strategy alone were incomparable to others. They originally thought that they would definitely die. But now, not only was the crisis resolved, she had even gotten rid of dozens of people from the Netherworld Palace. She was truly amazing. "Little Jiao, what should we do next? Should we stay on the ship until the trial ends?" Nangong Luoyue asked. The other 5 male students also looked at Yun Chujio. Unknowingly, they had already regarded Yun Chujio as their backbone. If we stay on the ship, it will naturally be the safest. However, this trial will be a waste. Therefore, we should find a place to go ashore. Even if we meet those people from the Netherworld Palace, it's not like we don't have a chance of winning. Yun Chujio burped and said. Hearing Yun Chujio's words, Nangong Luoyue and the others nodded in agreement. They were unwilling to return empty-handed after entering the treasure mountain. They rested on the ship for a night and went ashore at dawn the next day. Yun Chujio randomly chose a direction, and the group began to walk forward. "Right, Sister Luoyue. Have you encountered a stone rain after entering the mystic realm?" Nangong Luoyue was stunned. "Stone rain? I've never encountered it." "Then have you ever encountered a fireball in the sky?" Nangong Luoyue shook her head again. "Little Jiao, isn't what you said too strange? Have you encountered all of these before?" Yun Chujio gritted her teeth and nodded. It seemed that those were the preferential treatment given to her by the Qiling. "Damn Qiling, just you wait. It's fine if I can't find you, but if I find you, it'll make you tremble whenever you think of me." "Sister Luoyue, didn't you say that there are high-grade medicinal herbs, spirit tools, immortal tools, and even divine tools in the Burning Sky mystic realm? Where are those things? I thought they were falling from the sky." Chapter 15:12 Ancient Cultivators' Cave Abode. After hearing Yun Chujio's question, Nangong Luoyue could not help but laugh. "Little Jiao, what are you thinking about? How could a spirit tool fall from the sky? There are many ancient cultivators' cave abodes in this Burning Sky mystic realm. Those cave abodes usually have spirit tools and the like, and sometimes there will be unexpected opportunities." Yun Chujio touched her nose. "I told you. Where did spirit tools drop from the sky?" It was indeed the work of the damn Qiling. A few male students also said, "Although our array disc can't be used, the ancient array disc can." Those cave abodes are usually covered by arrays, so it's difficult to find the entrance of the cave abodes. We can only rely on luck. I heard that someone once hunted a violent earth-splitting wild bear and accidentally fell into a cave. I didn't expect that it was the cave abode of an ancient cultivator. He got several high-grade spirit tools and an immortal sword. Yeah, I also heard that someone was going to dig a stalk of purple stem kudzu root. I didn't expect that as he dug, the bottom collapsed, and then he found a cave abode. Then let's also specifically dig up spirit herbs with roots. Who knows, we might also discover a cave abode. I have never been greedy. We just need to find 180 cave abodes." Yun Chujio's eyes sparkled as she said. The corners of Nangong Luoyue and the other's eyes twitched violently. "Aren't you greedy? 180 cave abodes? Did you think that ancient cultivators' cave abodes were cabbages? After 3 days, the three of them had dug up quite a lot of spiritual herbs, but they didn't find a single cave abode. Yun Chujio was a little discouraged. She mumbled, "Didn't we agree to dig a cave abode? Why didn't we find any? Could it be that we entered the fake sky-burning mystic realm?" Nangong Luoyue and the others looked at the sky speechlessly. Who said that they would dig a cave abode? Did you think they were digging for spirit potatoes? While everyone was chatting and laughing, Yun Chujio made a hand gesture to signal for everyone to keep quiet. After interacting with each other for the past few days, everyone had a tacit understanding. After seeing Yun Chujio's hand gesture, they carefully hid in the dense forest. They restrained their aura and looked outside. Damn it! What bad luck! This trip was a waste. We even lost a lot of brothers. The one who spoke was Hallmaster Zhu, followed by 7 people. Hallmaster Zhu, I have to say that bitch Yun Chujio is too cunning. I finally figured it out. She borrowed the beasts to kill people, and those bastards were not her spiritual beasts at all. Do you even need to say that? The hateful thing is that those bastards later killed more than 10 of our brothers. What bad luck! Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. The 6 bastards were really awesome. They actually helped her kill more than 10 people? These people chased her so miserably that she had to kill them today. Yun Chujio estimated the strength of both parties. As long as they were caught off guard, they had a high chance of winning. Yun Chujio gestured to Nangong Luoyue and the others, indicating that they should not move. Then she wrote a note and handed it to them. After Yun Chujio took off the spirit-concealing ring on her hand, she carefully went behind those people. After leaving the dense forest, she put on the ring and deliberately made some noise. An assassin immediately noticed Yun Chujio and exclaimed, "Yun Chujio! It's that damn brat Yun Chujio." Yun Chujio said with a smile, "That's right, it's me. You guys are really lucky that my spirit beast didn't eat all of you. What a pity." Chapter 15:13. Do not offend her, damn girl. You were just lucky. This time let's see where you can run to. Let's go. Killing her will be a great achievement. Your promotion and wealth are just around the corner. Hallmaster Zhu said excitedly. The other 7 people swarmed up and surrounded Yun Chujio in the middle. I'm warning you. My reinforcements will be here soon. Aren't you afraid? Yun Chujio said with a smile. Don't listen to her nonsense. Kill her first. Hallmaster Zhu was afraid of being fooled by Yun Chujio, so he directly started to besiege her. Yun Chujio summoned 8 immortal swords to protect herself. Then she began to release the little pig of spirit energy, and the 2 sides engaged in a battle. After 15 minutes, Hallmaster Zhu was so angry that he gritted his teeth. This stupid girl was really hard to deal with. The 8 of them couldn't take her down in a short time, but she couldn't hold on for long. Right at this moment, Yun Chujio released a fiery red fox. That fox howled and howled. Hallmaster Zhu and the others were slightly dazed. At this moment 6 people jumped out from the dense forest. They attacked their backs with a wave of spirit energy. Yun Chujio's spirit energy piglet and small purple needles also shot towards them. The people of the Netherworld Hall were completely unprepared for the sneak attacks of other people. They were easily ambushed by Nangong Luoyue and the others. One by one they cried out in pain. With the help of Nangong Luoyue and the others, coupled with the success of the sneak attack, Yun Chujio's side quickly gained the upper hand. Hallmaster Zhu's subordinates all died one after another, and Hallmaster Zhu's spirit energy was also restrained by Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio took out a large kitchen knife and rubbed it against Hallmaster Zhu's face. You'll first use your thick skin to sharpen the knife, and then cut off your flesh piece by piece. Don't you think it's very interesting? Hallmaster Zhu's face was pale. Yun Chujio, a gentleman can be killed but not humiliated. You better make it quick. Make it quick. In your dreams. Yun Chujio took out an oil paper bag from her storage ring, then she said, "See? This is salted salt noodles. After I cut you, I'll sprinkle some salted salt noodles on it so that your wound won't be infected. Am I a very kind person? Kind? You're the devil. You're a pervert." Hallmaster Zhu was filled with hatred and fear. and he couldn't help but tremble. Hey, what are you trembling for? Do you think the salty salt noodles are bad? It's okay, I still have chili noodles here. When I sprinkle it on your wound, it'll make sure you feel really good. You're not a human. You're a pervert. Hallmaster Zhu cursed. That's right, I'm a pervert, Yun Chuzhou said as she took out a large kitchen knife and cut Hallmaster Zhu's face. After that, she sprinkled a layer of salty salt on his face. Hallmaster Zhu immediately screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Nangong Luoyue and the others could not help but shiver. The 6 of them silently prayed in their hearts. In the future they must never, ever offend Yun Chuzhou. They must never ever offend Yun Chuzhou. Alright, I'll give you a chance. Tell me about your Netherworld Hall's plan this time. If I'm satisfied, I'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, I'll cut you one by one. Moreover, I have medicinal pills to treat your injuries. I guarantee that you won't die for a while. Hallmaster Zhu gritted his teeth and said, Don't even think about it. I won't betray the Netherworld Hall. Alright. You forced me to do this, so I won't be polite. Yun Chuzhou cut Hallmaster Zhu's face again, and then sprinkled salt on it. After repeating it a few times, Hallmaster Zhu couldn't take it anymore. Alright, I'll talk. Will you really kill me after I'm done? Will you give me a quick death? Chapter 15-14 Sheng Envi and Vice Palace Master Lu. Of course. I'm a man of my word. If I lie to you, I'll let the heavenly lightning strike me to death. Yun Chuzhou said confidently. Damn it, if only the heavenly lightning struck me. I miss the feeling of being struck by lightning so much. The main purpose of entering the Burning Sky Mystic Realm this time is to kill you. Of course, it's better if we can capture a few useful hostages along the way. I've already said it all. Kill me. What you've said is just as I've guessed, so what you've said is of little value. Tell me more about the secret of the Netherworld Palace. It would be best if the fewer people who know about it, the better. For example, does that Vice Palace Master Lu have a mistress? For example, does that Si Tushar have an illegitimate child? Yun Chuzhiu's eyes flashed with the light of gossip as she asked. The corners of Nangong Luoyue and the other's eyes twitched violently. You spent so much effort to ask such a boring question. Is it really all right? Hallmaster Zhu was also dumbfounded. Is this Yun Chuzhou crazy? You didn't ask me about the core secrets of the Netherworld Hall. Yet you actually asked me such a boring piece of gossip? However, he didn't dare to keep it a secret. Moreover, such gossip wouldn't do any harm to the Netherworld Hall, so there was no harm in telling it. I've never heard of Si Tushar having an illegitimate child. However, he is very lecherous. I've heard that he has many concubines. Vice Palace Master Lu had never heard of him having an affair with anyone. Usually there were very few women who got close to him. I've told you everything I know. Kill me now. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. The news you've told me is not explosive at all. It's a bad review. If you can't think of any rumors that interest me, I'll have no choice but to continue to cut you with my knife. This time, I'll let you try the taste of the chili noodles. Wait. I'll talk. I heard that Vice Palace Master Lu used to like Sheng Envi, but Sheng Envi didn't like him. Yun Chuzhiu's eyes immediately lit up. I'm interested in this news. Keep talking. Sheng Envi's father is the old palace master. Vice Palace Master Lu has always been appreciated by the old palace master. The old palace master also intends to betroth Sheng Envi to Vice Palace Master Lu. However, something unexpected happened. The old palace master suddenly died. Everyone thought that Sheng Envi would marry Vice Palace Master Lu after dealing with the old palace master's funeral. They didn't expect Sheng Envi to ask for at least 3 months to be married in the name of filial piety, so Vice Palace Master Lu couldn't force her to agree. They didn't expect Sheng Envi to suddenly disappear 3 months later. Disappeared? That's not right. Didn't your Sheng Envi appear at the scene of the competition some time ago? Yun Chuzhou asked, puzzled. After Sheng Envi disappeared, Vice Palace Master Lu sent people to search everywhere, but they never found her. 11 years ago, Sheng Envi was found, but she was brought back to the Netherworld Hall with a man. I heard that at that time Vice Palace Master Lu was so angry that he wanted to kill the Saintess and that man. I don't know what the Saintess said later, but the Saintess was still the Saintess of the Netherworld Palace. Even that man has been living in the Saintess Palace of the Saintess. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. That Vice Palace Master Lu can even tolerate being cuckolded? Tsk, that Saintess probably has something on Shang Envy. Or Vice Palace Master Lu wants something from the Saintess. What a melodramatic gossip plot. Right, where was Shang Envy and her lover found? It's said to be in a low-level interface. It seems to be the Qingxian continent. Qingxian continent? Yun Chujia's heart skipped a beat, and she asked, then I don't understand. Since it was found in the Qingxian continent, why didn't Vice Palace Master Lu use that man's family to threaten the Saintess? Chapter 15:15 is my cheap adoptive parents. Of course, Vice Palace Master Lu is thinking about it. However, when the people of the Netherworld continent arrive at the Qingxian continent, their spiritual power will be greatly reduced, even more than the people of the Tianyuan continent. Their spiritual power will be directly reduced to the level of spirit enhancement, so they don't dare to act rashly. Moreover, the Saintess will not allow such a thing to happen. Otherwise, Vice Palace Master Lu will use that wild man to threaten the Saintess. Shengenvi said. Yun Chujo frowned. The gigolo had told her that the people from the Netherworld continent were not restricted to the Qingxian continent. Could it be that the news the gigolo received was fake? Was it fake news spread by the people from the Netherworld continent? Was it used to confuse the gigolo? Yun Chujo was very interested in the Shang Envy from the Netherworld Palace for some reason, so she asked again, is your Shang Envy good looking? Well, the Saintess always wears a veil. We haven't seen her face, but it is said that the Saintess is very beautiful, Shang Envy said. Have you seen that man? Hall Master Zhu still shook his head. That man only works in the Saintess Palace, and he doesn't seem to be in good health, so very few people have seen him. Rumor has it that he is quite handsome. Yun Chujo asked a few more questions, and Hall Master Zhu answered truthfully. Yun Chujo nodded. Your performance is not bad. I hope that you will reincarnate well in your next life. After Yun Chujo finished speaking, she used the large kitchen knife to cut Hall Master Zhu. After Yun Chujo killed Hall Master Zhu, she was slightly stunned. A couple from the Qingxian continent? And they were captured 11 years ago? Could it be her cheap adoptive parents? Her grandfather said that her adoptive mother's background was unknown, and she had the demeanor of a great family. Her appearance was also extremely beautiful. The more she thought about it, the more suspicious she felt. Forget it. It was better to leave this burning sky mystic realm first before making a long-term plan. Yun Chujo collected the storage rings of these 8 people. After she used her spiritual sense to probe into them, she could not help but curl her lips. Could it be that the people from the Hall of the Netherworld were all so poor? There were only a few pitiful spirit tools and not many spirit stones. However, there were quite a few shiny black small stones. What kind of ores are these? Yun Chujo curiously took out 2 of them and played with them. These are nether stones that are unique to the Netherworld continent. The people of the Netherworld continent can not only absorb the spirit energy in the spirit stones, but they can also absorb the spirit energy in the nether stones. However, the people of the Tianyuan continent can't do that, Nangong Luiwa answered. Yun Chujo smiled as she put away the Netherworld stone. Since that's the case, you guys can split those things. I'll keep the Netherworld stone. In the future, when I do business with the people of the Netherworld continent, I might be able to use it. Everyone. Are you sure that what you said isn't nonsense? The Tianyuan continent and the Netherworld continent have always been at loggerheads. Yet you still want to do business. Have you gone mad? Although Nangong Luoyue and the others felt that Yun Chujo was daydreaming, they did not stand on ceremony with her and divided the remaining things among themselves. After fighting side by side, it was very easy to eliminate the estrangement between people. In just over 10 days of being together, the few of them had already established a relationship that surpassed that of ordinary classmates. The 7 of them took a short break and continued walking forward. Yun Chujo mumbled as she walked, in another 10 days this burning sky mystic realm will be closed. We have to hurry up. Why can't we meet in ancient cultivator's cave abode? Yoon Chujia's eyes suddenly lit up. Haha, how could she forget that she still had a little expert in digging holes? Even if the ancient cultivator's cave was covered by a formation, Xiao Hei could still discover some clues. Chapter 15-16. Who is the best at digging? As Yoon Chujo thought of this, she took out the Xiao Hei rat from the spirit beast pouch. The Xiao Hei rat began to dig a hole and soon disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Nangong Luoyue and the others cursed in their hearts. Regardless of whether it was the Xiao Hong Red Fox or Xiao Hei, they had never seen Yoon Chujo summon them before. This fellow was really well hidden. Although these two seemed to be ordinary spirit beasts, one was an ordinary red flame two-tailed fox, and the other was a tailless earth-drilling mouse. No matter how they looked at it, they seemed to be the same as Xiao Jiu, pretending to be pigs to eat tigers. Previously, this Xiao Hei mouse came out from underground and bit off the ropes on their bodies. Its eyes were sharp and its movements were extremely agile. No matter how they looked at it, they felt that this Xiao Hei mouse was unusual. Xiao Jiu, what did you let that Xiao Hei mouse do? Nangong Luoyue asked curiously. Naturally, it was to look for the cave abode. Even if there is an array formation covering it, I don't believe that the underground will also be covered. Even if it is covered, Mickey Mouse will still discover it when it encounters the enchantment. Let's wait for Mickey Mouse's good news, Yoon Chujo said proudly. Although Nangong Luoyue really didn't understand what Yoon Chujo meant by Mickey for Xiao Hei, she felt that what Yoon Chujo said made sense. Perhaps they could really discover something. However, Xiao Jiu, although this Xiao Hei can dig holes, it will get tired after digging for a while, right? I'm afraid its efficiency won't be too high. Yoon Chujo smiled smugly. Don't worry, my Mickey is a battle mouse among the earth-drilling mice. The old digger is amazing. Haven't you heard of a saying? Who is the best at digging? Xiao Jiu's spiritual pet Mickey. The corner of Nangong Luoyue's eyes twitched violently. What was that? However, it didn't matter anyway. She would just let Xiao Hei try. It would be great if they could find the cave abode of the ancient cultivators. Just as Nangong Luoyue was thinking about it, she heard Yoon Chujo shout and said with joy, ha ha ha. I found it. I found it. I told you Mickey Mouse was a good digger. Come with me. Nangong Luoyue and the others were also overjoyed. They followed Yoon Chujo and ran to a cliff. Xiao Hei also came out from underground. Little Jiu, there doesn't seem to be anything unusual about this cliff, Nangong Luoyue said after checking it. Of course we can't see it from outside. Mickey said that there's a cave abode inside. I guess there's a cliff covering the outside. We have to destroy the cliff first. Therefore, everyone began to attack the cliff together. The rocks on the cliff kept falling down. After 2 hours they found a stone door. There were 3 big words written on the stone door, but they were written in ancient characters. Nangong Luoyue and the others didn't recognize them. Yoon Chujo did recognize 2 of the words, Illusion House. Yoon Chujo blinked her eyes. Illusion House? Illusion House? Or Illusion House? No matter what, there must be some kind of illusion array inside. Yoon Chujo turned to Nangong Luoyue and the others and said, I'm afraid there's an illusion array inside. Be careful. If you really can't, take a dagger and cut your arm twice. Everyone. Little Joe, you won't have any friends like this. What kind of bad idea is this? Yoon Chujo saw that their expressions were stiff. She added, Sister Luoyue, you can use needles to stab yourself. As for the rest of you, you men won't be afraid of pain, right? I'm doing this for your own good. If you fall into an illusion, you might get injured or die. You can make your own decision. Chapter 15-17. Grapefruit grass. When Nangong Luoyue and the others heard how serious Yoon Chujia's words were, they could only grit their teeth and cut their arms. The pain made them grin, and their spiritual senses were indeed much clearer. Yoon Chujo was stunned. I didn't ask you to do it now. I meant to do it after we enter. Everyone held back the thought of strangling Yoon Chujo and asked, This stone door looks extremely sturdy. How do we open it? Yoon Chujo smiled mischievously. Don't worry, we have a little expert in digging holes. Hence, Nangong Luoyue and the others looked at Xiao Hei with a dumbfounded expression as it started to dig a hole. Not long after, a huge hole was dug out from the sturdy stone door. They only had one thought in their mind. Whoever said that this was an ordinary groundhog, they would beat him to death. This Xiao Hei was definitely not ordinary. It was either a strange beast or an immortal beast. Just as everyone was about to enter, Yun Chujo said, "You guys go in first. I'll cover the outside. Otherwise, if anyone finds out, they might kill and steal the treasure." Everyone could not help but feel a little ashamed. They were so busy looking for the treasure that they did not even think about it. They were really too careless. After waiting for everyone to enter, Yun Chujo put away all the gravel on the ground. Then, she took out some vine seeds from her storage ring. She shamelessly poured a small amount of liquid into the guai chow and diluted it into a large vat of water. She poured a basin of water on the vines, and the vines immediately began to grow at a speed visible to the naked eye. The vines quickly covered a large part of the cliff wall. After Yun Chujo removed the footprints on the ground, she took out a few large rocks from her storage ring and blocked the entrance of the cave. Although Nangong Luoyue and the others were somewhat surprised by how Yun Chujo was able to grow the vines, they tactfully did not ask. In their hearts, they admired Yun Chujo's meticulousness even more. After Yun Chujo finished dealing with the entrance, she turned around and realized that they were only in a tunnel. There was a type of grapefruit grass growing on the wall of the tunnel. It was emitting a faint light, but there were many of them. It could also let people see the situation inside the tunnel clearly. Yun Chujo smiled evilly. "Now you can begin your masochistic journey. If you have nothing to do, just pull your wounds. Don't look at this grapefruit grass. It looks quite beautiful, but did you see the moss in the corner? It's the moonlight moss. When the smell it gives off and the smell of the grapefruit grass are combined, it has the effect of causing hallucinations." Nangong Luoyue and the others could only continue to torture themselves in order to avoid falling into the hallucination. They couldn't help but curse in their hearts. This genius was different from ordinary people. How could little Jiu not fall into the hallucination? Everyone continued to walk along the tunnel. Nangong Luo suddenly said, "Wait, did you hear the sound of water droplets?" Everyone listened carefully. It was true. The sound came from the front, as if there was the sound of water droplets falling down. "Who cares? We'll know when we get to the front," Yun Chujo said carelessly. Although this guy was afraid of death, he was more greedy. When they thought about the treasures inside, it was as if they were injected with chicken blood. Everyone continued to walk forward and finally reached the end of the tunnel. They finally found the source of the sound of water dripping, and a cold wind blew behind them. They saw an incomparably huge flood dragon crouching in a corner. The sound of dripping water was the sound of its saliva dripping onto the ground. However, the giant aquatic dragon lay there lazily, as if it had no intention of attacking them. Chapter 15:18. The vegetarian giant aquatic dragon Nangong Luoyue asked Yun Chujo in a low voice, "Little Jiu, what should we do? Why don't we run away quickly?" Yun Chujo didn't say anything. This fellow's eyes were staring straight at the place next to the aquatic dragon. Next to the aquatic dragon was a set of white bones. Obviously, it was the owner of the cave abode. Next to the white bones was a huge pile of spirit tools. Yes, it was really a huge pile of spirit tools. With a dazzling light, Yun Chujo's eyes instantly became starry. Damn it, this pile of spirit tools was enough for her to wreak havoc for a long time. She had to get her hands on them. However, how was she going to deal with this damn flood dragon? Although she did not know what kind of creature it was, it seemed that it would not be lower than level 27. The 7 of us combined might not be its match. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes as she stared at the flood dragon. The flood dragon did not put Yun Chujo and the others in its eyes at all. It actually closed its eyes and seemed to be asleep. Yun Chujo's heart moved. Something was not right. This cave was sealed. How did this flood dragon survive? Could it be an illusion? It should not be an illusion. Although that black bead did not have any other abilities, it would usually remind me when I fell into an illusion. Everything in front of me should be real. Then what was going on with this flood dragon? Just as Yun Chujo was racking her brains, Xiao Hong said with her spiritual sense, "Master, We spiritual beasts can sleep when we don't have food or water. Have you forgotten that I stayed in that cave for a long time? I usually sleep. Yun Chujio suddenly understood. It seemed that this flood dragon had been in a dormant state all this time. They only woke it up when they came in. However, it had been hungry for such a long time. Yet it did not take the initiative to attack them. It was really strange. Could this flood dragon be a vegetarian? Perhaps the shallot's grass and moonlight moss at the door not only had hallucinogenic effects, but they could also ensure that the flood dragon would not starve to death? After all, those two spirit herbs grew extremely fast. Yun Chujio decided to test it out. If worst came to worst, she would just run away. Yun Chujio took a few steps forward. Hey, Lord Giant Aquatic Dragon. This is the first time I've seen such a powerful and domineering demonic beast with a divine personality like you. Are you hungry? Nangong Luoyue and the others wished they could sew Yun Chujio's mouth shut. Do you owe us? This giant aquatic dragon didn't want to eat us. Now that you asked, it would definitely get up and swallow us. Unexpectedly, the giant aquatic dragon lazily opened its eyes and glanced at Yun Chujio. It didn't do anything. Lord Giant Aquatic Dragon, do you like to eat vegetables? I have cabbage, radishes, and spiritual potatoes here. Would you like to try them? Yun Chujio said and threw a few cabbage, radishes, and the like over. Nangong Luoyue and the others felt that Yun Chujio was most likely crazy. This fellow even made them torture themselves to stay awake. They saw that she had fallen into an illusion. Did you think that the person in front of you was a rabbit? And you even fed cabbage and radishes. Also, why did you put so many cabbage and radishes in your storage ring? Just as Nangong Luoyue and the others were cursing in their hearts, something happened that made them even more confused. The giant flood dragon had actually changed from its previous lazy appearance. With a few gulps, it ate all the cabbages, radishes, and spiritual potatoes that Yun Chujio had thrown over. Nangong Luoyue and the others rubbed their eyes. Then they gritted their teeth and tore at their wounds. They were in so much pain that tears almost fell down. It seemed that this was not an illusion. This flood dragon was actually a vegetarian. Yun Chujio saw that the flood dragon was gobbling down its food, so she quickly threw a lot of cabbages over. Lord Flood Dragon, I still have a lot of cabbages here. Please take your time and eat slowly. I guarantee that you will be full. Chapter 15:19. Playing hard to get, the giant aquatic dragon buried its head in its food and paid no attention to Yun Chujio. This dragon was almost as hungry as an earthworm, and it could finally eat its fill. I'll eat. I'll eat. I'll eat. Yun Chujio thought to herself. Since the giant aquatic dragon was so hungry, why didn't it go out to look for food? With the level of the giant aquatic dragon's spiritual power, destroying this cave was a piece of cake. Why would it rather starve than go out? Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. Could it be that the owner of the cave forced the giant aquatic dragon to make some kind of oath? It was probably so. If it was the owner's spiritual pet, how could the owner of the cave be willing to let his spiritual pet stay here half dead? After eating hundreds of cabbages, hundreds of white radishes, and a large pile of spiritual potatoes, the giant aquatic dragon burped a few times and laid down lazily again. Lord Giant Aquatic Dragon, I am very puzzled. With your great ability, why don't you go out and look for food? There are many medicinal herbs outside. You will definitely be full. The giant aquatic dragon snorted coldly from its nostrils, and a trace of resentment flashed through its vertical pupils. Yun Chujio immediately caught it, and this fellow's heart was filled with joy. There's a way. See how I will continue to fool this stupid loach. Lord Giant Aquatic Dragon, let me guess what happened. There's something wrong with what I said. Don't be angry. I'm just concerned about you, Yun Chujio said carefully. The giant aquatic dragon didn't say anything, and Yun Chujio took it as acquiescence, so she continued to say, Lord Giant Aquatic Dragon, could it be that the owner of this place forced you to swear an inner demon oath? So you had no choice but to guard this cave? The giant aquatic dragon suddenly straightened its head. Nangong Luoyue and the others were startled and wanted to run out of the cave, but only Yun Chujio stood there calmly. She asked with a smile, Giant Aquatic Dragon, was I right? I am the kindest person. I can't stand this kind of thing that uses the kindness of demon beasts and neglects to frame them. I will definitely think of a way to help you remove the inner demon oath. The colorful world outside is still waiting for you to explore. Besides, you've been single for a long time. It's time for you to find a partner. A hint of excitement flashed in the giant aquatic dragon's vertical pupils, followed by a hint of contempt, and it returned to its lazy state. Giant aquatic dragon, I know you may think that I'm bragging, but this is the best opportunity for you to remove your inner demon oath. It's rare to find a kind and smart person like me. Giant aquatic dragon still didn't have any reaction and lay there lazily. All right, giant aquatic dragon, since you don't need my help, then well, leave. Yun Chujo said and waved her claws, signaling Nangong Luoyue and the others to leave with her. Nangong Luoyue and the others thought that Yun Chujo really wanted to leave, so they followed behind Yun Chujo and prepared to leave as well. However, little Joe, are you sure that you are walking forward? What the hell are you doing? Yun Chujo counted in her heart 10, 9, 8. When Yun Chujo counted to 3, the giant aquatic dragon made a hissing sound, and Yun Chujo secretly made a victory sign. Then, she turned her head and said, Lord Giant Aquatic Dragon, are you afraid that others will discover this place? Don't worry. After we go out, we will definitely use rocks to completely block this place. I guarantee that no one will discover this place. You can just stay here and guard this place with peace of mind. Giant Aquatic Dragon's voice became even more urgent. Yun Chujo said in confusion, Giant Aquatic Dragon, do you have other matters? I know. Do you still want cabbage? All right, I will leave a few hundred cabbages for you. After saying that, Yun Chujo placed a few hundred cabbage on the ground and continued to walk out of the cave. Chapter 1520. Giant Aquatic Dragon and Little Loach. The giant aquatic dragon panicked and crawled over, hissing and hissing. Nangong Luoyue and the others were so frightened that their faces turned pale. They wanted to rush out of the cave, but Yun Chujo unexpectedly stopped. She turned around and said to the giant aquatic dragon with a smile, Giant Aquatic Dragon, don't tell me you believe me? Do you want me to help you remove the devil oath? The giant aquatic dragon was confused by Yun Chujo's trick of playing hard to get. Seeing that Yun Chujo had finally returned, it immediately nodded its huge head. Giant Aquatic Dragon, since you trust me, we have to establish a spiritual connection. Otherwise, I won't be able to know what happened. If I don't know what happened, I won't be able to help you remove your inner demon oath. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Giant Aquatic Dragon paused for a moment, then took the initiative to establish a spiritual connection with Yun Chujo. Giant Aquatic Dragon didn't expect that Yun Chujo, after establishing a spiritual connection, would actually forcefully use the beast taming technique. Giant Aquatic Dragon was so angry that it almost twitched. It desperately used its spiritual sense to resist, wanting to bite back. However, it didn't expect that it would encounter a little monster with a perverted spiritual sense. After struggling for a few times, it could only be controlled by Yun Chujo miserably. Ha ha ha! Little Loach, you still dare to pretend in front of this fairy. Come here. Obediently bow to this fairy. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Yun Chujo had one hand on her waist, and the other pointed at the giant aquatic dragon. She was extremely smug. Nangong Luoyue and the others looked at each other. What happened? Why did little Joe call the giant aquatic dragon Lord respectfully just now? How did it become a little Loach in such a short time? Fuck, did little Nine use the beast taming technique? Did he successfully control the giant aquatic dragon? How is this possible? Didn't they say that the beast taming technique could only control demonic beasts whose spiritual power level was lower than his? How did little Nine do it? This was too abnormal, right? Compared to the stupefaction of Nangong Luoyue and the others, that giant aquatic dragon simply wanted to strangle itself to death. How could I be so stupid? How could I be so stupid? How could I be fooled by this damn brat? She didn't even want to help me remove the oath of inner demons. She just wanted to control me. Although the giant aquatic dragon was filled with grief and indignation, it didn't dare to disobey Yun Chujo's words. It could only nod its huge head at Yun Chujo as a form of greeting. Yun Chujo curled her lips. Do you think that I'm trying to trick you by not keeping my word? Let me tell you, this fairy has always kept her word. The reason why I controlled you was because I was afraid that I would help you remove your inner demon oath. You went back on your word and killed us, so I took the opportunity to control you. Now tell me, how did you get coerced by the owner of this cave? Hearing Yunchujia's words, the giant aquatic dragon felt a little better, and used its spiritual sense to tell the story. The story was similar to Yunchujia's guess. The giant aquatic dragon was not the spirit beast of the cave master. Instead, it was captured by the cave master and forced to swear an oath in its heart. Unless the cave master's disciple came and took away all the spirit tools. Otherwise, it could not leave. Over the years, the giant aquatic dragon had been dormant most of the time. It would only occasionally eat some shallots and moonlight moss. It was so miserable that it had nothing to live for. Little Loach, that's not right. Why didn't the owner of this cave keep the things in his storage ring? Why did he put them outside instead? Could it be that there's something mysterious about this spiritual artifact? Yunchujo asked in puzzlement. A trace of surprise flashed through the giant aquatic dragon's vertical pupils. This little pervert was really smart. He had originally wanted to trick her, but she had actually discovered him. Chapter 1521. Ancestor Hongwen. The giant aquatic dragon saw that Yunchujo had already discovered something amiss. It could only tell the truth. Those spirit tools have been scattered by that black-hearted old thing. If someone greedily touches them, they will fall into an illusion. Then I can easily kill the person who came in. Yunchujo took out a rolling pin and whipped at the giant aquatic dragon. Damn it! You're still playing tricks on me. If I hadn't discovered the clues, would you have taken the opportunity to retaliate the moment I was poisoned? I'll let you play tricks, and I'll beat you to a pulp. The giant aquatic dragon coiled its body in a circle and protected its head. It looked like a dead pig that wouldn't be scalded by water. In any case, its body was strong, and its skin was rough and thick, allowing Yunchujo to thrash it. Nangong Luoyue and the others lit a candle for the giant aquatic dragon. It actually wanted to scheme against little Jiu. You're just looking for trouble. Damn it. Yunchujo thrashed for a long time before her anger subsided. She then asked, other than these spirit tools, where are the other treasures of the master here? If you don't tell me, I'll make you into snake soup. The giant aquatic dragon didn't expect Yunchujo to even guess this. It could only say, that black-hearted old man said that when his disciple comes, he will definitely bury him, so he put his storage ring under his butt. If his disciple doesn't bury him, he won't be able to get that storage ring. Yunchujo curled her lips. Looks like the owner of this cave is really paranoid. But, Little Loach, how can you tell if the person who came is his disciple? Giant aquatic dragon took out a portrait from his storage space. The old bastard gave me a portrait and said that this is his disciple. Yunchujo took the portrait and looked at it. There was a middle-aged man on it. He was not bad looking, but there was a treacherous look in his triangular eyes. No matter how she looked at it, he did not seem like a good person. However, it made sense. The owner of this cave did not seem like a good person. If he was so suspicious, he probably did not do anything good when he was alive. Seeing that Yunchujo was silent, the giant aquatic dragon felt a little uneasy. This little pervert would not just take the spirit tool and storage ring and leave, right? If that was the case, it would break the oath and it would be struck by lightning. Little fairy, how are you going to help me break the heart demon oath? The giant aquatic dragon completely lost its initial arrogance and asked pitifully, how did you swear the inner demon oath back then? Learn it from me word by word. By the heavens, I, giant aquatic dragon, hereby swear that I will do my best to protect this cave abode. Other than the disciples of forefather Hongyuan, I will kill anyone who touches those spirit tools. If you violate this oath, the heavens will strike you down with lightning. Giant aquatic dragon repeated the oath. Yunchujo rolled her eyes. Are you sure that you didn't miss a single word? Giant aquatic dragon nodded. Not a single word out of place. That's how I swore in my heart back then. That's easy then. That skeleton must be ancestor Hongyuan, right? Isn't it fine as long as he's his disciple? Then I'll take him as my master. As his disciple, isn't it only right and proper for me to take these things away? After Yun Chujo finished speaking, she pretended to say to the skeleton, Master, this disciple of mine who just came out of the oven has bowed to you. These spiritual artifacts and the things in the storage ring will be your gift to me. I will bury you properly. As for the person in the portrait, it is obvious that he is not a good person. If there is a chance, I will help you clean up your house. In the future, you will only have me as your precious disciple. Chapter 1522. Paying off debts with work. Giant aquatic dragon was stunned. Nangong Luiwe and the others were stunned. You can do this? Aren't you too shameless? I've never heard of anyone taking on a master on their own. You said that you were the disciple of the cave master. And you are? And you still want to clean up the house? Is this what Zhou Ke said about you? If it was an ordinary person, they would definitely not do such a thing. However, Yun Chujo did not have a strict distinction between good and evil in her heart. She could do whatever she pleased. Taking on a master did not matter. Moreover, this master was dead. There was no hindrance at all. Little Loach, is this all right? You won't be breaking your oath, right? Ha ha ha. I'm rich. Everyone, I'll keep the things first. We'll talk about it when we get back. Yun Chujo said this vaguely. Nangong Luiwe and the others naturally understood what Yun Chujo meant. They nodded one after another. In fact, they had already thought it through. They could not take this thing. Not to mention that they did not put in much effort even if they did. This thing was also given to her by Little Nine's master. So what if they took it? The giant aquatic dragon was stunned and didn't say anything. Was this considered a violation or not? Yun Chujo didn't care whether it was stunned or not. She put all the spirit tools on the ground into a storage ring and put them away separately. Then she walked to the skeleton. This fellow thought about it. Although it was a nominal master, it was best to kowtow to show that it was worth a lot of money after all. Cough cough, just treat it as kowtowing for money. After Yun Chujo finished speaking, she knelt on the ground and really kowtowed 3 times to the skeleton. Unexpectedly, just as Yun Chujo finished kowtowing, the old man's skeleton actually moved away. To be exact, the green stone slab under the old man's skeleton moved away. A jade box was revealed. The giant aquatic dragon hurriedly explained, Little fairy, I really didn't know about this. This black-hearted old thing actually still has a trick up his sleeve. Yun Chujo ignored it. She picked up the jade box and opened it. There was only a black thing inside. Yun Chujo was overjoyed. She had obtained another fragment of the Great Void Mirror. Yun Chujo put away the jade box and moved the old man's skeleton. As expected, there was a ring under the old man's skeleton. After Yun Chujo used her divine sense to probe into it, she found that there were quite a number of spirit stones inside. There were also some scattered things. Yun Chujo didn't look at it carefully. After putting away the ring, she dug a pit on the ground and buried the old man's skeleton. Master, although we haven't met before, I'm still very convinced by your means of collecting money. Therefore, we can be considered to have hit it off. From now on, you can rest in peace. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. After I get out, I'll have the giant aquatic dragon destroy this cave abode. It will also prevent others from disturbing your peace. Yun Chujo muttered a few words after dealing with the old man's skeleton. After Yun Chujo finished speaking, she said to the giant aquatic dragon, Destroy this place. This place can be considered your cage. You can vent your anger now. After Yun Chujo and the others came out of the cave, the giant aquatic dragon began to use its huge tail to hit the cliff walls. The rocks at the top of the cave began to fall off. The giant aquatic dragon felt that it was almost done, so it climbed out. Of course, it definitely could not get out of the original hole. It only climbed out after the violent destruction. The giant aquatic dragon destroyed a large part of the nearby cliff wall, and the cave was completely destroyed. After the giant aquatic dragon destroyed the cave, it said carefully, Little fairy, can you terminate the temporary contract with me now? Yun Chujo looked at it. Do you still have a conscience? If I help you to remove the oath of inner demons, it will be for nothing? You will eat all my cabbage and radishes for nothing? From now on you will repay your debt with work. Chapter 1523. The Might of the Giant Aquatic Dragon. The giant aquatic dragon fell to the ground with a thud and scratched the ground with its huge claws. It wished that it could turn back time. If it could turn back time, it would rather starve to death than eat this little pervert's cabbage. Little fairy, how do you repay this debt with work? Although the giant aquatic dragon wished that it could slap Yun Chujo to death, it could only ask pitifully, "Before I leave the mystic realm, I will naturally let you go. Don't worry, I won't take a fancy to a weak demonic beast like you. Even if you beg me, I won't take you as my spiritual pet, you little loach," Yun Chujo said with disdain. The giant aquatic dragon really wanted to roar. "I'm the blue dragon. Blue dragon. Not some little loach. Moreover, I beg you, unless I'm crazy, how good would it be to be free and unfettered? Who would be willing to be a cultivator's spiritual beast?" However, the feeling of being looked down upon by others was still very unpleasant. "Damned girl, just you wait. I'll let you see how powerful this Jiao dragon is." Yun Chujo put the giant aquatic dragon into her spiritual beast pouch and released Xiao He. "Let's go. We'll continue to search for treasures. We'll be rich soon." Although Nangong Luoyue and the others were curious about how Yun Chujia's spiritual beast pouch could hold a demonic beast that did not recognize its owner, they tactfully did not ask. Xiao He had too many secrets, so it was better for them to turn a blind eye. Although Xiao He was an expert at digging holes, it was not easy to find an ancient cultivator's cave abode. After another day, Xiao He did not find a new cultivator's cave abode. Just as Yun Chujo was feeling a little disappointed, more than 20 people came from the opposite side. Someone exclaimed, "Yun Chujo. It's Yun Chujo." Yun Chujia's eyes darkened. She was worried that she did not have any spirit stones in her account, but someone actually took the initiative to send money. This was great. The more than 20 people who came were also from the Netherworld Hall. When they saw that Yun Chujo and the others not only had fewer people, but also had low spiritual power, they were overjoyed. This was a good opportunity to make a contribution. As long as they killed this Yun Chujo, Vice Palace Master Lu would definitely reward them greatly. The people from the Netherworld Palace immediately surrounded Yun Chujo and the others in the middle. The leader was a man with a croaky voice. He said arrogantly, "Yun Chujo? Humph. You were very glorious a few days ago. Our Netherworld continent was humiliated by you until we lost all our face. Today it's time to settle the score. I will send you to hell immediately." Yun Chujo smiled crisply. Chapter 1524. There was a mystery in the tree hole. An hour later, there was not a single person left from the Netherworld Palace. They were all dead. Yun Chujo curled her lips. "I gave you a chance but you didn't grasp it. Are you blaming me?" The giant aquatic dragon was very proud. "Did you see that? This dragon's abilities were great. If it wasn't for me, all of you would have been killed. And you still look down on me?" Yun Chujo glanced at it. "You still have the face to show off? If it wasn't for our help, at least half of the fish that escaped the net would have been released, you little loach." The arrogance that had just risen from the giant aquatic dragon was instantly extinguished by a basin of cold water, and it became dispirited once again. Yun Chujo thought to herself, such a thing had to be attacked a few times for no reason, or else it would float away. Yun Chujo asked Nangong Luoyue and the others to divide up the valuable items from the people of the Netherworld Hall. Then she continued to search for the caves of the ancient cultivators. Xiao He quickly found another cave of the ancient cultivators. Yun Chujo and the others managed to obtain the items without any danger. Although Yun Chujo was not very satisfied, Nangong Luoyue and the others were very happy. They did not have a nouveau riche like Yun Chujo. They felt very satisfied just by sharing a few high-grade spirit tools. In the next few days, Yun Chujo and the others were quite lucky. They found a few more ancient cultivators' cave dwellings in a row. Nangong Luoyue and the others earned a lot of money and were very happy. Yun Chujo pouted and muttered, What happened to the immortal tool, divine tool, and opportunity? I can give up the immortal tool and divine tool, but where is the opportunity? Nangong Luoyue couldn't help but laugh and said, Little Joe, this opportunity can only be found by chance, not by seeking it. How can it be so easy to find it? There are still 3 days until the end of the trial, and perhaps you will encounter an opportunity. Yun Chujo curled her lips. Opportunity? That damn tool spirit hadn't made any movements recently, so it might not be brewing some kind of evil move. However, Yun Chujo was still thinking about it. Just as Yun Chujo was thinking about it, Xiao Hei said with its spiritual sense, Master, I found another cave abode. Yun Chujia's eyes lit up, and she brought Nangong Luoyue and the others to the place where Xiao Hei was. Unlike the cave abode that they had found previously, which was inside the rock wall, the entrance of this cave abode was actually the trunk of an ancient tree. The trunk of the ancient tree required dozens of people to hold hands to surround it. The branches and leaves were flourishing, and it was impossible to tell that there was a cave underneath. Little Joe, this is the 9 Heavens Dome Pine. It is said that some can live for hundreds of thousands of years. I think this 9 Heavens Dome Pine is at least tens of thousands of years old. However, the trunk of this tree is not very hard, and it is hollow. Therefore, even though the tree is very old, it is not worth much. Nangong Luoyue asked. Yun Chujo took out a rolling pin and knocked on it. Sure enough, a hollow voice came from inside. The corner of her mouth curled up. It is indeed empty inside. Let's open a hole in the trunk and go in. The group quickly opened a hole in the tree trunk. Yun Chujo used the night pearl to shine a light inside. It was very deep inside and she couldn't see what the bottom looked like. Yun Chujo threw a few pebbles inside. After a long time, she heard the sound of falling to the ground. She didn't hear any other sound, so there shouldn't be any danger down there. Sister Luoyue, you go down first. I'll help you watch the rope. I'll go down last. Yun Chujo said to Nangong Luoyue and the others. After Nangong Luoyue and the others agreed, they climbed down the rope. Yun Chujo waited for them to go down and put away the rope. As usual, she planted a few vines and climbed down with sticky threads. Chapter 1525. A big mushroom with 7 colored lights. It took Yun Chujo an hour to climb down and meet up with Nangong Luoyue and the others. While climbing, Yun Chujo discovered that there should have been a cave abode first. There was a 9 sky dome pine growing on top of the cave abode. As the roots of the 9 sky dome pine grew deeper and deeper, the trunk of the tree was connected to the cave abode. According to her calculations, this cave had existed for at least tens of thousands of years. When Nangong Luoyue and the others saw Yun Chujo coming down, they excitedly pointed to the front and said, Little Joe, look! There must be something good ahead. Yun Chujo looked in the direction where Nangong Luoyue pointed. In the distance, there was a magnificent 7-colored light flashing. There must be a treasure. This guy was overjoyed, however, he still said cautiously, It's naturally good to have a treasure, but there might be some danger nearby. Everyone be careful. Activate your defensive spirit tools to prevent any accidents from happening. Nangong Luoyue and the others did as they were told and followed behind Yun Chujo carefully. After a quarter of an hour, everyone finally saw the thing that was emitting a magnificent light. It was actually a huge mushroom. Everyone was a little dumbfounded. There were mushrooms that could emit light, but this was the first time they had seen a mushroom that could emit such a brilliant light. Moreover, this cave abode was empty, and there was only a huge mushroom. It was really a little strange. Yun Chujo looked at her surroundings. There were stone walls all around. It was obvious that this cave was artificially dug. Since it was artificially dug, there were no skeletons or coffins inside. There was only one big mushroom. It was really abnormal. At this moment, the big mushroom began to emit a tempting fragrance. Nangong Luoyue and the other 3 couldn't help but walk toward the big mushroom. Their eyes were full of anxiety. Yun Chujo cursed in her heart and shot 6 small purple needles at the 6 people's buttocks. She only used 10% of her spiritual power, so after the small purple needles exploded, they only slightly injured the 6 people. The 6 people were shocked awake by the pain. Only then did they realize that they had unknowingly approached the strange big mushroom and quickly retreated. The 6 people touched the blood on their buttocks with faces full of shame and anger. Nangong Liu's face was red as she asked, "Little Joe, can't you change your position?" Yun Chujo spread her hands. "Only the skin on your buttocks is rough and the flesh is thick. If I shoot on your arms and legs, how will you fight later?" Although Nangong Luoyue and the others felt that what Yun Chujo said made sense, no matter how they looked at it, they felt that Yun Chujo did it on purpose. Due to the pain in their buttocks, everyone's spiritual senses were much clearer. Although they still had the desire to get close to the big mushroom, they could still control it with their willpower. "Little Joe, this mushroom is too strange. What should we do next?" "Let me try out this big mushroom first. Everyone step back first." After Yun Chujo gestured for everyone to step back, she took out a Windblade rabbit from the Great Void Mystic Realm. After the Windblade rabbit was released, it was clearly a little confused. However, it was quickly attracted by the alluring fragrance of the big mushroom. The Windblade rabbit quickly jumped to the side of the big mushroom. Just as the Windblade rabbit approached the big mushroom, a few mycelium emerged from the ground and tightly wrapped around the Windblade rabbit. A moment later, only some of the Windblade rabbit's long white hair was left on the ground. Even its bones were absorbed by the big mushroom. Nangong Luoyue and the others' faces were pale. They were very scared. If Yun Chujo did not wake them up, they would definitely end up like the Windblade rabbit. Chapter 1526 The Old Method. Little Joe, let's go out. There aren't any treasures in here anyway. This big mushroom is too strange, Nangong Luoyue said with a slight stutter. Before Yun Chujo had the time to answer, the green stone slabs on the ground had all exploded. The mycelium of the big mushroom extended out from the ground and swept toward the 7 people. Fortunately, everyone had already activated their defensive spirit tools, according to Yun Chuji's instructions. The mycelium was blocked outside by the defensive barrier, but the mycelium was constantly secreting a kind of liquid, and the defensive barrier was quickly corroded. Everyone hurriedly used their spirit energy to attack the mycelium. Unexpectedly, the mycelium was extremely powerful, and even fire attacks were ineffective. It wrapped around everyone tightly, and once the defensive barrier was corroded, everyone would die without a doubt. Nangong Luoyue and the others were in despair. They did not expect that after escaping so many disasters, they would turn into the nourishment of the mushroom in the end. What a coward! Yun Chujo blinked her eyes. The Gui Chao in her dantian was constantly shouting. Damn it! Did she have to absorb the poisonous liquid of this big mushroom again? However, it seemed that there was no other way. Let's do it then. Yun Chujo stretched out her hand from the defensive barrier and pulled a strand of mycelium into it. Little Jiao, what are you doing? Let go. Nangong Luoyue and the others were so scared that they almost fainted. Yun Chujo ignored them because this guy was holding the mycelium with both hands and sucking the venom. The strange grass in his dantian was obviously very useful. The leaves were all stretched out and slightly swayed. It was extremely similar to how Yun Chujo looked when she was showing off. Nangong Luoyue and the others were scared to death when they saw Yun Chuji's valiant behavior. Oh my god, little Joe, are you crazy? The mucus in the mycelium was extremely corrosive. Aren't you courting death? It's over. It's over. Little Joe was about to be corroded. They didn't expect that little Joe, who was clever and muddle-headed all her life, would actually do such a stupid thing. She was dead for sure. Wait a minute, there seemed to be something wrong. Why did it seem that not only was little Joe not corroded, she seemed to be drinking happily? On the contrary, the mycelium quickly withered. How was this possible? Seeing that the mycelium in her hand had withered, Yun Chujo immediately grabbed another mycelium and continued to suck the venom inside. Yun Chuji's sucking speed became faster and faster, so much so that the mycelium around her was so afraid that they did not dare to come forward. This fellow was slightly proud of himself. Although this method was a little ugly, it was really easy to use and it worked every time. Yun Chujo walked forward, and the mycelium retreated. Later on, it simply drilled back into the soil, and even the mycelium that was wrapped around Nangong Luoyue and the others also retreated back into the soil. Nangong Luoyue and the others were clearly still a little confused. What was going on? How could this work? Little Jiu was relying on eating to scare away the mycelium? Why was Little Jiu not afraid of the corrosive poison? Perhaps the longevity hall had some kind of pill that was impervious to all poisons. Yes, that should be the case. That was why Little Jiu was not afraid of the poison. After everyone finished imagining the truth, they saw Yun Chujo hop towards the big mushroom and anxiously shouted, "Little Jiu, what are you doing?" Yun Chujo turned around and bared her teeth. "I wasn't full just now. I want to drink enough this time." Nangong Luoyue clearly saw the big mushroom tremble when it heard Yun Chujia's words. What made them even more surprised was that the big mushroom quickly shrank and finally became the size of an adult's fist. It burrowed into the rock wall next to it and disappeared. Chapter 1527. We are here to look for treasure. Yun Chujo snorted coldly and walked to the place where the big mushroom was originally. After lifting up a few bluestone slabs below, more than 10 steps were revealed below. Yun Chujo still threw a handful of stones down and saw that there was nothing unusual. Only then did she walk down the steps. Nangong Luoyue and the others also hurriedly followed her down. What a joke. If they didn't follow Little Jiu closely, what would happen if that damn big mushroom came back? Everyone came to a sudden realization after walking down. So this was the real cave abode. That big mushroom should be the owner's demonic plant, responsible for guarding the entrance of the cave abode. The inside of the cave abode was very simple. Other than a stone bed, there was a stone table and a stone bench. Other than that, there was only a white bone that had passed away. When everyone was looking around, a mist rose from the white bone and gradually formed the appearance of an old man. His beard and hair were all white, and he looked somewhat like an immortal. "Why did you barge into my cave abode?" Nangong Luoyue and the others looked at Yun Chujo at the same time. Yun Chujo said with a smile, "Senior, greetings. Of course we came here to search for treasures. However, I see that your clothes are not that good and you probably don't have anything good. We came here for nothing." "Humph. You are so young and powerful. I don't have anything good? What nonsense." The old man snorted. "You have something good? You have something good to guard the cave with a broken mushroom? You have something good, but this cave is so simple? I think you are completely boasting." Yun Chujo curled her lips and said. The old man was so angry that his beard curled up. "Little girl, take a look at what this is." The old man raised his hand, and a large pile of spirit tools appeared on the ground. There were also some jade boxes inside which were probably filled with high-grade spirit herbs. Nangong Luoyue and the others had already guessed Yun Chujia's intentions. This fellow was really bad. He was just probing the truth. This old man was really naive. He actually fell into her trap just like that. Could it be that the ancient people were all so naive? Although Yun Chujo was overjoyed in her heart, she had a look of disdain on her face. "It's all right. Previously, there was some Hongyuan forefather who had more things than you here." The old man suddenly raised his voice. "What did you say? Hongyuan, that old thing's cave? He's still alive?" Yun Chujo saw the hatred in the old man's eyes and her heart moved. He couldn't have died earlier. "He's not even as good as you. You still have a remnant soul. He's already completely dead." "Dead? He's dead too? Ha ha ha. Retribution. It's really retribution." "Old Hongyuan, you still died before me. Ha ha ha. I won. In the end I still won." The old man seemed to have gone mad as he laughed out loud. Yun Chujia's hair stood on end when she heard that. Why was she laughing like she was crying? Was this an enemy or a friend? The old man calmed down after a long while, and then asked, "Tell me, how did you find his burial place? And what's the situation inside?" Yun Chujo did not hide anything and told him everything, including how she lied to the giant aquatic dragon, and how she took him as her teacher. The old man did not speak for a long time after hearing that. He was probably scared by Yun Chujia's thick skin and scoundrel. After a long time the old man sighed, "I didn't expect that. Hong Yuan, you old man, you always claimed that you had unparalleled wisdom when you were alive. After you died, you actually let a little girl scheme against you. It's retribution. Retribution. Chapter 1528 was not ashamed, but rather proud. Yun Chujo probed, Senior, is my cheap master your enemy? Humph. You scoundrel. This master is so easy to call. I reckon there isn't a second person who would acknowledge him as a master like this. Truly shameless, shameless. The old man snorted coldly. If it was an ordinary person, they would definitely be ashamed of themselves. Unfortunately, Yun Chujo did not feel ashamed, but felt proud instead. She smiled and said, Senior, thank you for your praise. The old man was amused. No wonder you were able to scam old Hong Yuan. Your skin is really thick. Senior, what is the relationship between you and my cheap master? Why do I look like a friend as well as a foe? Yun Chujo asked with a smile. This fellow was not afraid of the old man's remnant soul at all because he was very confident. Damn it, if you dare to make things difficult for me, I will release my remnant soul army in Tao Wu. I will torture you to death. Both enemies and friends? You said that we are both enemies and friends? What nonsense! How can I be friends with such a treacherous person? We are enemies. Enemies that will not rest until one of us dies. The old man said through gritted teeth, however. There was a hint of sorrow in his voice. At this moment, Yun Chujo actually hummed in a low voice. The rolling Yangtze River flows to the east and the waves wash away the hero's right and wrong. Success and failure turn into emptiness. A pot of turbid wine meets happiness, and so many things in the past and the present are just a joke. The powerful and desolate tone and lyrics instantly made the old man burst into tears. Yun Chujo shrugged her shoulders. Sigh, there was no choice. Just singing a song could make people cry. Was it my fault? The old man took a long time to calm down. Although there were no tears in the remnant soul, he still wiped his eyes with his sleeve. He let out a long sigh. It's laughable that an old thing like Hong Yuan and I, who are more than 10,000 years old, cannot see through things as clearly as a little girl like you. In order to fight for our lives, we actually fought until both of us were injured and both of us died. It's really laughable. Senior, don't say that. Those who are in the middle are confused and those who are watching are clear. Yun Chujo pretended to be modest. You little girl, you are full of tricks. The old man stroked his beard and scolded with a smile. It seemed that the knot in his heart had been resolved, and his tone was a little relaxed. Senior, what is going on between you and my cheap master? Yun Chujo asked curiously. The old man sighed and told the story. The old man was known as Patriarch Yuan Tian. He and Patriarch Hong Yuan were both disciples of Patriarch Huntian, the sect leader of the primordial chaos sect. Hong Yuan was the senior brother, and the old man was the junior brother. The two of them were like brothers at first, but their master passed the position of sect leader to Patriarch Yuan Tian before his death. Patriarch Hong Yuan was displeased. In addition to the instigation of people with ulterior motives, as time went on, the animosity grew. Patriarch Hong Yuan simply betrayed the primordial chaos sect and founded the murderous origin sect. Patriarch Hong Yuan was indeed a talent. The murderous origin sect developed rapidly. Although it couldn't compare to the primordial chaos sect, it was still considered a relatively large sect. The two sects were constantly in conflict, and it had even developed into a small-scale fight. It was like fire and water. Forefather Yuan Tian and forefather Hong Yuan had been fighting for thousands of years, but there was no result. The two of them had agreed to go to the bumpy mountain to fight to the death. The battle between the two of them actually lasted for several years. The two of them simply opened up a cave abode. After the battle, they would rest for a period of time before fighting again. In the beginning, the two of them really wanted to kill each other. However, in the end, as they fought non-stop, they could not help but think of the days when their fellow disciples cultivated. In the end, they actually used this method to conceal themselves. The two of them never returned to their respective sections. Although the two of them had the intention of reconciling in their hearts, they could not let go of their self-esteem. Just like that, another 2,000 years passed. The two of them ran out of lifespan and died in their respective cave abodes. Chapter 1529. Xiaomogu was also a fool. Yun Chujo could not help but sigh after hearing the old man's words. TSK, it was all for the so-called face. How much was that face worth? She really could not take it lying down. The old man let out a long sigh. Little girl, my remnant soul is about to dissipate. There is a storage ring underneath me. You can take the things inside as well as those defensive spirit tools. I only hope that in the future, if possible, you can help the Chaos Origin sect and the Killing Origin sect turn hostility into amity. Senior, logically speaking, you should take money from others to help them solve their problems. However, I have never heard of the Han Yuan sect and the Shi Yuan sect. There is only one Gue Yuan sect in the Tian Yuan continent. Yun Chujo sighed and said, Tian Yuan continent? You said this is the Tian Yuan continent? The old man asked in surprise. That's right. This is the sky-burning mystic realm. It is said that all of you are ancient cultivators. It should have been tens of thousands of years since all of you died. The old man was stunned for a moment. It has actually been so long? No wonder you haven't heard of it. The Tian Yuan continent is just a low-level world. The Han Yuan sect and the Shi Yuan sect are on the immortal Yuan continent. I think that something must have happened on the Budian mountain where we are, which is why it has become your so-called mystic realm. The immortal Yuan continent? I seem to have heard of this before. It seems that some people cultivate the Great Tao and go to the immortal Yuan continent. So, people on the immortal Yuan continent also die. I thought that when we reached the immortal Yuan continent, we would live as long as the heavens. Yun Chujo said with a smile. The old man smiled bitterly. Equal lifespan to the heavens? That was something that only gods could do. Gods no longer existed, so no one could live forever. Little girl, if you can go to the immortal essence continent one day, you must remember my instructions. The old man's remnant soul began to fade. Before Yun Chujo could take the ancient green jade bottle, the old man's remnant soul completely disappeared. Yun Chujo sighed. Actually, the old man had probably lived enough. He had lived for tens of thousands of years with resentment and regret. It was simply torture. Yun Chujo respectfully kowtowed 3 times to the old man. Then she moved the old man's skeleton away. Sure enough, there was a ring underneath. Yun Chujo did not check the things inside the ring. After she put it away, she dug a hole and buried the old man's skeleton inside. Yun Chujo stood up with some disappointment. Sister Luoyue, you guys pick a few spirit tools that you like. I'll shamelessly keep the rest. Nangong Luoyue and the others declined a few sentences. Seeing that Yun Chujo insisted, they each picked a few spirit tools. Yun Chujo kept the rest of the spirit tools. When everyone reached the top of the stairs, Yun Chujo remembered that she didn't ask the old man about the origin of the mushroom. She rolled her eyes. I've taken 3 spirit pets, but I haven't found any demonic plants yet. This big mushroom looks pretty good. I might as well trick it into my hands. In the future, when I am fighting my enemies, I will appear on the mushroom that is flashing with 7-colored multicolored light. Just thinking about it makes me feel extremely arrogant and cool. Xiaomogu, come out. I have something to tell you. The surroundings were quiet. That mushroom did not come out. Yun Chujo continued, Xiaomogu, your master has already said that you were originally from the immortal Yuan continent. It was because you were fighting with Patriarch Hongyuan that you came to the Buping mountain. However, we are now in the Tian Yuan continent. If you want to return to the immortal essence continent, you only have one choice, and that is to follow me. A faint and magnificent light shone from behind a rock wall. It was obvious that Xiaomogu was hiding behind that rock wall. Yun Chujo could not help but be secretly happy. This Xiaomogu was also stupid. Chapter 1530 Xiaomogu, I'll give you one last chance. If you want to return to the immortal Yuan continent, come over and acknowledge me as your master. Let's sign an equal contract. If I ascend to the immortal Yuan continent in the future, I'll cancel the contract with you and you'll be free. I'll count to 10. If you still don't come out, I'll leave. 10, 9, 8. When Yun Chujo counted to 2, the Xiaomogu jumped out from the cliff. It trembled and stretched out a mycelium. This mycelium was different from other mycelium. There was a red line inside. Obviously it was where Xiao Moga's demon essence was. Yun Chujo bit her index finger and dripped a drop of blood on it. Xiao Moga's mycelium waved and started to form seals. A moment later, a soft voice sounded in Yun Chujia's mind. Master, since you acknowledge me as your master, I have to give you a cool name. What should I call you? Yun Chujo was in a dilemma. Yun Chujo thought for a while and her eyes lit up. I think of a good name. It has an image and is easy to remember. Cough cough, you should be called Xiao Mogu. Xiao Mogu, Nangong Luoyue and the others. Come, Xiao Mogu, quickly turn into a big mushroom. I want to sit on it and show off. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Xiao Mogu trembled. Master, I can't grow bigger now. What? Yun Chujo was immediately angry. She poked Xiao Mogu with her finger and asked fiercely, weren't you able to grow bigger before? Master, it's not my fault. You sucked away a lot of my poison. The spiritual power in my body is not enough to maintain such a big appearance. Moreover, I just used some spiritual sense to support my former master's remnant soul. I need to recover for a period of time before I can recover my original spiritual power. Xiao Mogu said aggrievedly. It was bitter in its heart. It had lived for tens of thousands of years, but it had never met a monster like you who could not be poisoned to death. It was so angry. Then how long will it take for you to recover your original spiritual power? Yun Chujo had a bad feeling in her heart. No, it's hard to say. Maybe a few years, maybe a few hundred years. Xiao Mogu used the mycelium to protect its cover, afraid that Yun Chujo would poke it again. Yun Chujo felt that she seemed to have taken in another burden, but she could not throw it away even if she had taken it in. Yun Chujo touched her chin. Since you don't have any abilities now, you can't eat for free, right? Fortunately, you're quite good looking. You can be my headdress from now on. After saying that, Yun Chujo put the little mushroom on her head and said to Nangong Luoyue, Sister Luoyue, do you think my mushroom hairpin looks good? The corner of Nangong Luoyue's eyes twitched violently. Although the little mushroom was emitting a dazzling seven-colored radiance, the mushroom on her head looked strange no matter how she looked at it. Xiao Mogu, let's go up. Nangong Luoyue decided to avoid answering. Yun Chujo pursed her lips. She wasn't stupid, so she naturally knew what Nangong Luoyue meant. She stuffed Xiao Mogu into the spirit beast bag with disdain. You're the one who's useless. You can't even be a headpiece. Little trash. Master, you can't keep putting me in the spirit beast bag. If I don't come into contact with the soil for a long time, I'll die. Xiao Mogu said pitifully. Yun Chujo was so angry that she gritted her teeth. I've just picked up an ancestor. She could only get some soil from the great void mystic realm and put it in the spiritual beast pouch. Xiao Mogu grew on it contentedly. Yun Chujo felt that it would be better if this cave abode was destroyed, otherwise, it would be easy for others to find it again. She did not let the giant aquatic dragon destroy it, because this cave abode was not within the cliff. If it collapsed, it would attract even more attention. So this fellow began to pour down large rocks and mud. The corners of Nangong Luoyue and the other's eyes twitched violently. Little Jiao, it was understandable that you had cabbage and radishes in your storage bag. But what did you mean by carrying so many large rocks and mud? After filling up both the upper and lower layers, Yun Chujo began to fill up the tunnel until it reached the root of the tree. Yun Chujo used sticky silk to climb out of the tree. Just as she was about to lower the rope to let Nangong Luoyue and the others come up, a lightning bolt as thick as an adult's wrist struck her directly. Yun Chujo raised her eyebrows. Was this a lightning bolt? Qi Ling wanted to strike her to death? Was Qi Ling that stupid? Sister Luoyue, don't come up for now. There's a small situation upstairs. When I call for you, you can come up again, Yun Chujo said casually. Nangong Luoyue and the others heard the sound of thunder and Yun Chujia's words. They became nervous. Was little Jiao going to be struck by lightning again? In the past, with Dean Huangfu's protection, would little Jiao be able to do it on her own this time? Yun Chujo was afraid that Nangong Luoyue and the others would be affected, so she deliberately walked a distance forward. She took out a handkerchief to wrap her hair, then sat down cross-legged and calmly waited to be struck by lightning. Boom! 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 Streaks of array lightning struck Yun Chujia's body one after another. This fellow was so happy that it was as if he was soaking in a hot spring. He thought to himself, this burning sky mystic realm really had a fortuitous encounter. After this strike, she was going to level up. Thinking about it, it was really wonderful. Master, can you let me absorb some heavenly lightning as well? Xiao Hanyo said to Yun Chujo with her spiritual sense. Hearing this, Yun Chujo placed Xiao Hanyo to her left. Xiao Hanyo spread its wings and looked like it was enjoying it. Master, I want to be struck by lightning too. Xiao Mogu said timidly. You want to be struck by lightning too? Don't brag. If you get struck by lightning and flowers bloom, I won't save you. Yun Chujo curled her lips and said, Master, I'm not bragging. I love being struck by lightning the most. Xiao Mogu said a little unconvinced. Hearing Xiao Mogu's words, Yun Chujo put Xiao Mogu on her right. She was a little uncertain. Could this little thing really withstand the lightning? Xiao Mogu put the mycelium into the ground and waited to be struck by lightning calmly. Soon, a bolt of lightning struck Xiao Mogu's mycelium. Xiao Mogu was fine and even let out a comfortable snort. Thus, the three perverts sat in a row, looking as if they were enjoying being struck by lightning. Qi Ling, who was secretly striking, was dumbfounded. Fuck. What was going on? It was fine if that wretched girl wasn't afraid of being struck by lightning, but why wasn't even that ugly bird and Xiao Mogu afraid of being struck by lightning? I don't believe that I can't kill all of you. I'll put in more effort. Boom. 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 2 hours later, although Xiao Hanyo and Xiao Mogu were kept by Yun Chujo still looked lazy and nothing happened. The weapon spirit of the burning sky mystic realm was obviously smarter than the other mystic realm's weapon spirits. Seeing that it could not kill Yun Chujo at all, it simply stopped attacking Qi Ling. Seeing that the weapon spirit had stopped attacking, Yun Chujo stood up, pointed at the sky and cursed Qi Ling. I know it's all you're doing. If you have the ability, get out here. No matter how much Yun Chujo cursed, the weapon spirit didn't make a single move, as if it was dead. Seeing that the method of provoking Qi Ling wasn't working, Yun Chujo had no choice but to give up. What the fuck, he was really cunning. It seemed that not all weapon spirits were stupid. Sister Luoyue, come up. Yun Chujo had no choice but to let Nangong Luoyue and the others come up. Nangong Luoyue and the others were already scared silly. Although they couldn't see, they could still hear the continuous thunder. If it was said that Dean Huangfu had helped little Zhou resist the heavenly thunder before, then this time it was completely her who had borne it. Perhaps it was also her who had borne it in the Tianyuan Academy before? Heavens, that was too terrifying. That was 10 hours of heavenly thunder. The 6 people only regained their senses when they heard Yun Chujia shout and climbed up the rope. Although they had already guessed that Yun Chujo wasn't in danger, when they saw Yun Chujo, who was even more lively than before, only 2 words floated in their hearts: pervert. For the next 3 days, everything went smoothly. Along the way, they even met some cultivators from the Tianyuan continent. Yun Chujo sneered in her heart. This must be because the weapon spirit did not tamper with it anymore. Otherwise, they would only be able to meet people from the Netherworld Hall. At least it was tactful. On the last day, after Yun Chujo forced the giant aquatic dragon to swear an inner demon oath, only then did she break the temporary contract with it and let it go. Nangong Luoyue was very curious. Little Zhou, why don't you take that giant aquatic dragon directly? It's a level 27 demonic beast, and it can be considered a great help to you. Sister Luoyue, first of all, I really don't like it because it's too ugly. Moreover, its grade is low. Although it's not bad now, there's limited space for it to advance in the future. Secondly, it won't sincerely submit to me. I won't be at ease using such a spiritual beast, Yun Chujo said with a smile. Nangong Luoyue felt that it was a pity when she heard Yun Chujo say this, but she didn't say anything else. When the time came, Yun Chujio and the others were ejected out of the burning sky mystic realm. The item spirit probably thought that it wouldn't be able to kill Yun Chujio anyway, so it simply gave up. Although Yun Chujio was unwilling to not be able to pack up the item spirit, she had made a small harvest after breaking through to the 7th level of the Spirit Saint realm, Qi Ling. Most importantly, she had found a fragment of the Great Void Mirror. However, she did not know what would happen to the Great Void Mirror after the 6th fragment was fused. Protector Tang, who was leading the team from the Hall of the Netherworld, felt his heart tighten when he saw Yun Chujio come out safe and sound. He had sent so many people into the burning sky mystic realm to kill Yun Chujio, but he still had not killed this wretched girl. How was this possible? Weren't talismans not allowed inside? Protector Tang counted the number of people again, and there were actually nearly 200 people missing. Although some of them might have been killed by the demonic beasts in the mystic realm, it was impossible for so many people to have died. This meant that at least 100 people had been killed by someone. Could it be that the people of the Tianyuan continent had joined forces to kill their people? Protector Tang immediately asked his subordinates how those people had died. However, other than some people who said that their companions had been bitten to death by demonic beasts or killed by the cave formation, he did not know how the rest of the people had died, so he could only bring his people back in confusion. 10 days later, the students of the Tianyuan Academy returned to the Tianyuan Academy on flying spirit tools. Before Yun Chujio got off the flying spirit tool, she heard the crowd exclaim, "Young Master Wuji! What is young Master Wuji doing at the entrance of our academy? Is he here to visit Dean Huangfu again? That's not right. If he is here to visit Dean Huangfu, why doesn't he go in? Instead, he is standing at the entrance of the academy. Why does it feel like he is waiting for someone? What you said makes sense. Then who is he waiting for?" Insulian's heart started to beat violently. Could it be that young Master Wuji was waiting for her? Did he regret treating her so rudely the last time? Young Master Wuji had always been kind to her. It was probably because he was in a bad mood the last time that he treated her that way. It must be like this. Thinking of this, Insulian squeezed through the crowd with a face full of shyness. "Young Master Wuji, are you waiting for me?" Xue Wuji looked at her with disgust. "Don't you understand what I said last time? It's disgusting to see you. Scram to the side." Insulian's face flushed red. She was so embarrassed that she wanted to leave immediately, but she was not willing. Since he was not waiting for her, then who was young Master Wuji waiting for? Could it be that he was waiting for Qin Mingzhu or Bai Liyan? Could it be that he had heard that Your Excellency had gotten together with that bitch Yun Chujio, so he was planning to rope in Qin Mingzhu or Bai Liyan? Although the Gue Yuan sect and Medicine Valley strength were not bad, their Yin family was not bad either. Why couldn't he choose her? Many people also looked at Qin Mingzhu and Bai Liyan. Although Qin Mingzhu liked Di Baiming in her heart, being able to be treated so well by young Master Wuji, her vanity was greatly satisfied. Therefore, she took a few steps forward. "Young Master Wuji, long time no see. How have you been?" Qin Mingzhu was much smarter than Insulian. She did not ask directly, but said politely. This way she could attack, retreat, defend, and not leak a single drop of water. Unexpectedly, Xue Wuji did not even look at her. Instead, he waved his arms and shouted loudly, "Little Sister Jiu! Little Sister Jiu! Big brother is here to see you." Yun Chujio's eyes twitched when she saw the excited Xue Wuji. "Damn you, don't you know how to overdo it? By directly exposing our relationship, wouldn't everyone be able to guess that we were just acting?" However, since it was already like this, there was nothing to hide. Yun Chujio could only walk up to Xue Wuji and ask, "Big brother Wuji, why are you here? Last time on your birthday I haven't given you a birthday present yet. This time I've given you something good." Xue Wuji said with a fawning expression. Everyone was dumbfounded. Holy shit. This young Master Wuji was a fake, right? The always handsome and domineering young Master Wuji would speak in such a fawning manner? If he had a tail, he would simply be a little mutt. Also, he called Yun Chujio little sister Jiu? If he wasn't familiar with her, he wouldn't call her that, right? Yun Chujo called young Master Wuji what young Master Wuji? Young Master Wuji wasn't angry? And he had an excited look on his face? Was he crazy? Little sister Jo, let's go. I have something important to talk to Dean Huangfu about. Take me there, I don't know the way. The corner of everyone's eyes twitched. Young Master Wuji, is it really okay for you to lie like this? You don't know the way? You have been in the Tianyuan Institute for 3 years and you don't know the way? Yun Chujo could not expose Xue Wuji, so she could only bring Xue Wuji into the Tianyuan Institute. Everyone looked at the backs of the two people and discussed, oh my god! Yun Chujo is not only the person that your majesty likes, but also the younger sister of young Master Wuji? This is too scary. TSK. Yun Chujo didn't even mention such a background. It's been almost 2 years since she entered the school before she announced it. She's really low-key. You don't understand. She's called self-reliance. Yun Chujia's competition in the Burning Sky Plains shocked everyone. She only announced it after she became famous. She's not like some people who wish that everyone in the world knew about her background. Even though those people did not mention her by name, Een Sulian felt that they were talking about her. She was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Damn Yun Chujio! Since you already have an exalted master, why did you still provoke young Master Wuji? Damn it! Slut! Qin Ming's expression was also very ugly. Although she did not like Xue Wuji, being ignored in public made her feel very embarrassed. The resentment in her heart towards Yun Chujio deepened. This slut had always been pretending to deceive her. She had to think of a way to get rid of this slut. In just a moment, Qin Ming's expression returned to normal. She walked to Bailey Yan's side. She said self-deprecatingly, Bailey Yan, you and I claim to be smart people. I didn't expect to be fooled by Yun Chujio. She clearly has a close relationship with your esteemed self and young Master Wuji. Yet she actually pretended not to know him. Her thoughts are terrifying. Are you willing to be played by her like this? Qin Mingzhu felt that with her words, Bailey Yan would definitely impulsively seek revenge on Yun Chujio. She might also use the power of the Medicine King Valley to deal with Yun Chujio. If that was the case, it would be great. Unexpectedly, Bailey Yan glanced at her. Qin Mingzhu, if you don't like Yun Chujio, you can deal with her yourself. Don't try to persuade me. Although my temper is a little bad, I'm not a fool. After saying that, Bailey Yan left. Qin Mingzhu lost her face twice in a row. The resentment in her heart was all directed at Yun Chujio. Bitch, it's all because of you that I'm so embarrassed. Just you wait. Achoo. Brother Wuji, your admirer must be scolding me behind my back. Can't you keep a low profile? Yun Chujio said with disdain. Little sister Jo, brother will be sad if you say that. Di Baiming said, what kind of woman you are in front of everyone. What's wrong with me calling you little sister Jo? Xue Wuji looked extremely sad. Yun Chujio had no choice but to change the topic. Brother Wuji, what business do you have with the dean? Xue Wuji smiled cunningly. What business do I have? If I didn't say that, would I be able to enter Tianyuan Academy? Last time we didn't even have a proper conversation. This time we have to have a proper chat. I heard that you showed off your skills during the competition in the Burning Sky Plains? Yun Chujio was immediately amused. Brother Wuji, you don't know. At that time, Tianyuan Academy was in a crisis. I descended from the sky and turned the tide. Yun Chujio's face lit up as she spoke, while Xue Wuji danced with joy as he listened. These two idiots had long forgotten about the matter of finding Dean Huangfu, and went straight to Yun Chujio's dormitory. Qin Mingzhu looked at the backs of the two of them and a vicious thought arose in her heart. Xue Wuji seemed to have a good impression of that bitch Yun Chujio. If she could think of a way to make the two of them do something shameful when the time came, His Excellency would definitely be furious. Not only would he take care of Xue Wuji, he might even kill that bitch Yun Chujio. What a good plan to kill two birds with one stone. However, how could she achieve this goal? She had to plan properly. After Dean Huangfu found out that Xue Wuji had come, he immediately sent someone to Yun Chujia's courtyard to invite Xue Wuji. Although Xue Wuji was using this as a cover, he couldn't go too far. He could only follow the person to see Dean Huangfu. Xue Wuji laughed and chatted for a while before he changed the topic. Dean Huangfu, it's been a long time since I've returned to the Tianyuan Academy. I really miss the plants here. Therefore, I plan to stay here for a few days. You want not welcome me, right? This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Dean Huangfu thought to himself, aren't you feeling guilty for saying this? Didn't you just come here last year? Miss every blade of grass and every tree? I think you just miss Yun Chuzhou alone. Although Dean Huangfu cursed in his heart, he couldn't refuse, so he said, of course, I'll send someone to take you to the guest house. Dean Huangfu, am not familiar with others, but am familiar with my little sister Jiu. In the next few days, you can ask little sister Jiu to accompany me to relive our school days, Xue Wuji said shamelessly. Dean Huangfu could only nod in agreement. He knew that even if he didn't agree, this ancestor would still think of a way to get him to agree. In that case, he might as well do him a favor. Hence, other than class time, Yun Chuzhou went to look for Xue Wuji to chat. Occasionally, she would ask Fengming and the others to come over and play cards together. Xue Wuji was simply too happy to think about home. That evening, Dean Huangfu held a banquet to entertain Xue Wuji. The 4 vice deans and some student representatives accompanied him. Qin Mingzhu, Yin Sulian and the others also attended. Xue Wuji had been in a good mood recently, so the banquet was filled with laughter as they raised their cups frequently. Ever since Yun Chuzhou was taught a lesson by Di Baiming, she did not dare to drink anymore. Hence, she only drank a few cups of tea and spent the rest of her time eating bitterly. Qin Mingzhu saw that Yun Chuzhou did not drink, and her eyes flickered a few times. She gave a meaningful glance to one of the servants who served the dishes, and that servant nodded his head indiscernibly and left. Soon, several bowls of hot soup made from all kinds of rare ingredients were brought over by the servants. The fresh fragrance assailed the nose. Yun Chuzhou wasn't afraid of the heat and sipped the soup. Seeing this, Qin Mingzhu was delighted. Humph bitch, no matter how cunning you are, you still fell for my trick. I put some ingredients in this hot soup for you. Although it's fine to use it alone, when mixed with the other herbs that were added to other dishes, it would be a powerful aphrodisiac and medicine. A good show was about to start. At this moment, Yun Chuzhou suddenly shouted, "That handyman, come over here." The handyman was shocked. Could it be that Yun Chuzhou found out the problem? Qin Mingzhu couldn't help but clench her fists. Was she found out? The handyman was so nervous that he asked with a trembling voice, "Little Fairy Jiu, what are your orders? What are you trembling for? Am I that scary? This soup tastes good, but a small bowl is missing. Get me 2 more bowls." The servant felt relieved and quickly said, Yes, I'll go get it for you." Qin Mingzhu also relaxed. Bitch, you're really courting death. It's a good opportunity to increase the dosage of the medicine so that you won't fall for it. Not long after, the servant brought 2 more bowls of hot soup. Yun Chuzhou was sipping the soup with a spoon. Xue Wuji teased with a hint of drunkenness, "Little sister Jiu, can you finish all that soup?" "Brother Wuji, don't worry. If I can't finish it, I'll pack it up and leave. The taste of the hot soup is really good. It'll be unforgettable for a long time," Yun Chuzhou said with a look of enjoyment. Qin Mingzhu sneered in her heart. It was indeed unforgettable for a long time. You would never forget it for the rest of your life. After 3 rounds of wine and 5 different dishes, the banquet was over. Xue Wuji drank until he was a little shaky. He said to Yun Chuzhou, "Little sister Jiu, I'm 80% sure that I drank too much. Please send me back to the guest house." Yun Chuzhou agreed readily and accompanied Xue Wuji to the guest house. A trace of pride flashed in Qin Mingzhu's eyes. Everything was proceeding according to my plan. In another hour, the effects of the medicine would take effect. I would then design an excuse for Yin Sulian to go to the guest house. Sulian would discover their ugly behavior. Thinking of this, Qin Mingzhu seemed to walk to Sulian's side unintentionally. She said to herself, "It seems that young Master Wuji is really a little drunk. It's best to drink some hangover soup. Moreover, it's so late at night and there's only one man and one woman. It's really hard to say." Sulian's heart was immediately shocked. That bitch Yun Chujio was used to seducing men. Perhaps young Master Wuji was drunk, promiscuous and sexually promiscuous. The two of them could do it. No, she had to stop them. Qin Mingzhu watched as Sulian left in a hurry. She was very pleased with herself. This idiot. As expected, she fell for it with just a slight hint from her. She was much easier to deal with than Xinlian. Not far away, Bailey Yan's eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. The corners of her mouth curled up into a sneer as she turned around and left. Although Qin Mingzhu really wanted to see Yun Chujio and Xue Wuji being caught in bed together, in order to get rid of the suspicion, she still walked towards her own dormitory. Qin Mingzhu was in a good mood and walked briskly. By the time she sensed the strong wind, it was already too late for her to dodge and she fell into darkness. This time, Sulian learned her lesson and did not rashly go to the guest room. Instead, she gathered some people and headed to the guest room under the name of delivering sobering soup. Among the people following behind Sulian were some of her usual lackeys. There were also some people who liked to watch the show. An hour later, Sulian led her people to the outside of the guest house. Young Master Wuji, I've brought you the sobering soup," Sulian shouted several times, but there was no movement in the courtyard. Sulian became anxious. Could it be that the two of them had already slept together? No, she could not let such a thing happen. Young Master Wuji was hers. Sulian gritted her teeth and went straight to the door. Perhaps Xue Wuji was careless and did not activate the protective array. Sulian led her men and rushed into the courtyard. Sulian was stunned when she saw the situation in the courtyard. Xue Wuji and Yun Chujio were playing chess. Xue Wuji's expression was normal. He was not drunk at all? Sulian, I remember telling you that I don't want to see you. Why did you force your way into my courtyard? Are you trying to do something naughty while I'm drunk? Sulian explained in a panic. Young Master Wuji, am not. I'm here to give you some hangover soup. What you said is really grand. I don't need your fake good intentions. Scram. If this isn't the Tianyuan Academy, I'll definitely kick you away. Xue Wuji said impatiently. Sulian's face flushed red. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. Then she heard Yun Chujio say, Sulian, I've already said that you don't have a brain. I'm afraid that you're being used by others again, right? TSK, why don't you learn your lesson? Sulian glared at Yun Chujio fiercely, but she was secretly hating in her heart. Could it be that bitch Qin Mingzhu deliberately said those words to her? Just to humiliate her? When Sulian thought of this, she left angrily with her people. Brother Wuji, Hua should have succeeded, right? If he didn't do such a small thing well, he wouldn't need to live anymore. That idiot Qin Mingzhu actually wanted to scheme against me? She really underestimated me. Xue Wuji. If I wasn't afraid of the Guiyuan sect, I would have killed her directly this time. Xue Wuji's eyes had a trace of fierceness. Brother Wuji, who do you think is the person who sent us a note to remind us? Yun Chujio held a piece of paper in her hand. There were only 5 words on it. Be careful of Qin Mingzhu. Xue Wuji said carelessly, who knows? However, even if no one warned her, with her despicable methods, she still wanted to scheme against this young master. Although she wouldn't be poisoned, it would indeed take a lot of effort to find out about Qin Mingzhu. Brother Wuji, why aren't you poisoned? Could it be that you are also impervious to all poisons like me? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Xue Wuji smiled smugly. It's just a little poison. I just need to use my spiritual power to suppress it, and it will slowly dissolve. It's no big deal. Little sister Jo, it's getting late. You should hurry back to the dormitory. Yun Chujo blinked slyly. I'm not going back to the dormitory. I'm going to watch a good show. Brother Wuji, aren't you going? Shue Wuji pursed his lips. The ugliness of that kind of person is not worth seeing. You can go. Seeing that Shue Wuji was not interested, Yun Chujo hopped out of the courtyard and left. Seeing that Yun Chujo had left, Shue Wuji took out his left hand that had been hidden in his sleeve. It was already dripping with blood. Damn it. This damn medicine is so powerful. Fortunately, my willpower is amazing. Otherwise, I would have lost face in front of little sister Jo. Shue Wuji's face turned red. He used the dagger to cut his hand again, and the heat in his body was slightly relieved. At this time, Secret Protector Hua Hua walked in. Young master, the matter has been settled. How are you? I have already interrogated Qin Mingzhu. There is no antidote for this medicine. Why don't I help you find a woman? Humph. This young master will not touch those idiots. I don't believe that I can't even deal with this little poison. Shue Wuji gritted his teeth and said. When the Secret Protector Hua Hua heard Shue Wuji's words, she had no choice but to stop talking. The young master's habit of keeping his face was really fatal. On the other side, Yin Sulian brought her people to the outside of Qin Mingzhu's courtyard in an aggressive manner. Qin Mingzhu, get out here. You bitch. How dare you frame me like this? What are you thinking? When my sister was alive, you went against her. Now that my sister is dead, you're trying to frame me again. Is your Gue Yuan sect preparing to start a war with our Yin family? Yin Sulian cursed for a long time, but there was no movement inside. In a fit of anger, she directly pushed open the courtyard door and walked in. The boys following behind naturally could not follow her in. Only a few girls who were not afraid of trouble followed her in. When Yin Sulian entered the courtyard, she saw that Yin Sulian's bedroom was lit up. Moreover, there seemed to be voices inside. So she kicked open the door without caring about anything else. Then she let out a scream, and the people following behind her also cried out repeatedly. They saw two people hugging each other on the bed.